Just a couple of artists whose recent tours have been marred by ticket.
And I know Cam Ward, he went #1. I don't know him, but
Senator Richard
my sister-in-law's
and
husband,
Clark said
that's his godfather.
in the process.
Fair prices.
So I don't know him, but every time I'm down there by them, that's all. That's all he talks about. He talks to his mom. He calls his mom up. Look, Ro, I'm about to call his mom so you could hear me talk to her. Like, bro, I don't care.
Among other things, would require outlets like Ticketmaster and StubHub to display the total.
But he has a great story, so I'm happy he went #1.
Couple fees up front.
Our life,
WTIC News.
and got into some, outside trouble as they do,
WTIC
and had to go to junior college.
Network, not looking at
I went from junior college to
the
I think it's Oregon State,
Friday.
and then the coach said he'll never be a pro, so he left Oregon State, went to Miami. Now he's a #1 pick in the draft. So that's a great story.
And 20. Also out in Manchester from 59 to 57.
Never let him tell your story for you.
As well.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Found 91 into the city out of Windsor.
They did it for me too, and some of that stuff they said I would never do. That I thought I would. I didn't do, but some of it I did.
Southbound between exits 46 and 43. That'll carry you into West Haven there, and also back up this way in Windsor, 291 eastbound, just prior to exit 4. You'll see the right lane closed to some late running road work there till about 3:30. Let's check the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
For the rest of our Friday afternoon,
I forgot today is Friday. Tourney time.
Cloudy this evening. It'll become cloudy.
I'm in New York tomorrow.
Oh, damn, whereabouts?
Right outside of Albany.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're going to hate it up there. It's boring and cold.
It's supposed to be, actually it's supposed to be raining tomorrow. Every time I go to a tournament, it's snowing and rain, and I can't wait till it's like real summer.
Yeah.
So at least I know it's just going to be hot.
Albany's real quiet, man. It's just a quiet town.
Yeah, I go every year for the annual.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Vermont, Schenectady, Albany, Rochester, New Jersey, Philly, Delaware. They all have their 1 year big annual tournament.
Yeah.
So we hit all of those every year.
Oh, okay.
We have 77 and partly sunny skies right now in Hartford. Markets are trending in positive territory so far this Friday. The Dow's up 42. NASDAQ is ahead 201, and the S&P is up 38 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. It's 3:07. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Now at McDonald's, wake up with a warm sausage McMuffin with egg for $3 and add any sized coffee for just $1.29 during breakfast hours only. Price and participation may vary.
Hi, Eric Hogarth, Money Wisdom. Do the wealthy think differently? Do they plan differently? And what should I be doing differently? Tune in this Saturday at 8:30 right here on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
Are you a proud Connecticut business owner? We are too. With more than 48 years of experience handling business transactions for small and mid-sized businesses. And we know that not every business relationship works out as planned. If you found yourself in a dispute, call the law firm of Brown, Payne, Darris & Scott. Our team of business lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a full-service law firm. Call us at 860-CALL-BPS or visit bpslawyers.com. Nick Payne Darris is responsible for the content of this ad.
As men get older, our bodies change.
1 minute.
And often we just accept the changes as the way it is. But some of those changes, such as bad sleep patterns, low sex drive, brain fog, no energy, and reduced gains in the gym, could be due to low testosterone. And that is something you can change. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And even if you're in your 30s, if you're experiencing some or all of the symptoms I just noted, you very well may need low testosterone treatment. With our treatment protocols, if you're like most men, you'll be amazed at the change. You'll have more energy, improved mental clarity, your sleep will be better, so will your workouts, and you'll likely find your sex drive increases too. So give us a call today and make a change for the good. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start treatment the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. NortheastMen'sHealth.com. That's NortheastMen'sHealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the Radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Reese's on the Radio. Yo, let's get it. Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the Radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, you guys ready to have some fun today? I'm ready to have some fun. It's Friday. We're going to talk about anything and everything. We're going to do the Reese on the Radio dance party. We got ladies' night happening tonight. And, we got all the news and all the views that you can shake a stick at. Mrs. on the Radio will be joining the program in a little bit to have some conversation. I want to ask.
Hold on. You're not coming through.
I'm not coming through at all?
Nope. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Well, that's odd. And it might be on, well, it can't be on my end.
Yeah, you are hooked up, right? Exit 543. Yep, everything.
We sound like we're good?
Nah, you're still not coming over.
Oh. Do you want me to go to another access? There may be a problem.
Yeah, let's try
Go to
MA
one?
traffic.
MA? Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. All right, I'm over here now. I think that everything's coming through on Facebook. We know that we're actually talking about WTIC. It's not coming over through the airwaves, Boris. I think that's the problem. We're working on that right now. So there may be a signal issue that's got me kicked out, which happens. But they are working. Did you hear music? Yeah, I know you hear the music on WTIC. Yeah, I'm not coming through on that line. So that may be the problem.
Has your home's air conditioning lost its cool? Ready for a change? Say, come on into Campbell.
Yeah.
Campbell Heating and Cooling knows how to get the most out of your AC system. Change is good. Filter changes, condenser cleanings, and cleaning the outside of your unit. All systems require yearly service so your home and you can breathe a little bit easier. Before you lose your cool, contact Campbell. Campbell Heating and Cooling and Barney Barker Oil on Facebook or campbellcooling.com. That's campbellcooling.com.
Campbell Cooling uses all major name brands, including American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning and Mitsubishi Heating and Cooling Equipment.
Some people follow the rules. Where we celebrate the rebels, the risk takers, and the ones who make their own way. Every week, I sit down with the boldest voices in sports, entertainment, and beyond to talk about breaking
All right, go ahead.
expectations and rewriting the rules. No
Nah, I can't hear you.
apologies. Just
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
I could. I
Okay,
can
I
hear
have
you
myself on mute.
feel free on the Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
now. Talk again.
Testing, 1, 2.
And I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair
Say again?
price, call me at 203-896-4000.
Testing, 1, 2.
I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses.
Great.
I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs?
Okay.
Great, because I love
Do you want me to
buying
go to
junk
4?
houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned
Okay.
houses, condemned houses, and even
Yeah.
foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them.
Testing,
They
1,
have
2.
to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go.
Testing, 1, 2.
And that place
testing.
is ZipRecruiter. And right now,
Yeah, I'm
you can
talking
try
directly to my
ZipRecruiter
mic.
for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person
So when we were talking
right away.
earlier, you
In
could
fact,
hear me
4
inside
out of
the
5
studio,
employers
but it
who
wouldn't go
post on
on to the-
ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate
There.
within the first day.
Something's-
But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to
Testing, 1, 2. Testing,
ZipRecruiter.com/free
testing, 1,
right
2.
now to try ZipRecruiter
All right,
for
we're
free.
good now?
Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com
Okay, you got
/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with
They
ZipRecruiter.
say 10 seconds.
Just come right on.
All right, we're back. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. I apologize. Unfortunately, it's technology. It's technology. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It is unpredictable, but we're here. Anyway, like I said, we've still got a big, giant show for you today. We got Mrs. on the Radio joining the program at 5 o'clock. We're going to talk about all the news and all the views, all the breaking news as it's happened. I've got a lot of details about these judges that have been arrested, and there's something weird, apparently, and I was saying it before I got on the air. What's going on with April 25th? It must be something in the air. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But my opening monologue has been cut down a little bit, and that's okay. It's all right. It's now an opportunity to keep me from bloviating for a good 20 minutes. But don't worry about it. Let me get back to today's opening monologue.
525,600 minutes. 525,000 moments, oh dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year?
How do you measure a year? Well, you don't do it in 95 days. Do you hear all of the stuff on television and in the news and in the newspaper and online with people talking about polling data when it comes to Donald Trump in his final, and that's the whole thing. It's his final hurrah. In the grand scheme of things, he's a lame duck. But no one can stop talking about all the polling data. He's underwater on the economy. He's underwater on immigration. He's underwater on the tariffs. And I keep asking everyone, it seems like you're concerned about his re-election campaign for 2028. I thought that was a done deal. I thought there was no way that he could run in 2028. But people are talking about Donald Trump's polling numbers like they mean something. Can I break this down a little bit for you? Folks, there are 1,365 days left in this administration. 1,365 days left. We are on day 95 of it. Day 95. We're not even at November of this year, where no midterm election takes place. No midterm takes place until 2026. So in theory, it's 2 years. What the polling data says today means nothing. It's relevant maybe April of next year. But today, giving the impression that you're going to thwart this administration, perhaps disrupt it in the midterms by screaming where he is in 95 days. The fact that people will text me and post to me, oh, do you see the price of eggs isn't coming down? Oh, the price of gas hasn't gone down. Oh, the price of groceries is still high. I simply say to them, as should you, shut up. Shut up. Why is Donald Trump the president of the United States? Tell me why. And if they go off in a tear about other things that don't make it say, oh, because America's racist, I'm like, no. You know why Donald Trump is president. You know why you lost. You know why he won. Because you sat there and ignored everything that got us in the place that he is bailing us out of. And now you want to have a conversation with us about the speed of which it's being done? Your homeboy, Grandpa, Shady Acres, and Vice President's sister girl managed 4 years of hell and kept dumping more fire on it and more gasoline and more tinder, hell, kerosene when they couldn't afford gas. That's what that administration did. If you think 95 days into this administration is going to have the rest of us pulling our hair out saying, no, oh my goodness, I regret my vote, you guys have got to be stupid. You guys were going to run to the ballot box after 4 years of Joe Biden and vote for his successor, a la sister girl. You even fought tooth and nail to keep Joe Biden in. You laughed at us when we said he was never going to maintain his reelection campaign because he was getting too old, too slow, and too feeble. You said, no, he is the candidate, and he'll beat Donald Trump again. And to look at us now and go 95 days in and say to us, look at the polling data, you're bugging. You're out of your ever-loving mind that anybody can look at 95 days after looking at, what was it, 1,460 days? 1,460 days. You guys lied. You guys gaslit. When there was a recession, you changed the definition. When this guy had 13 service members murdered and many wounded, you guys made every excuse in the book for him. It didn't matter what was going on, from the baby formula shortage to the supply chain shutdown to the strikes and the nonsense that was going on. Oh, don't forget about EV mandates and telling people how they had to reduce their carbon footprint. Oh, and forget about the fact that your freedoms mean nothing. We got sick and tired of you talking about your freedoms when it came to the vaccine. And you guys think that after 95 days, you're going to look at us and go, oh my God, calamity. Please shut your ever-loving mouth. Shut up. You have no wins here. You have no credibility here. Stop talking. No one is listening to you, not even your own group. There's a reason why your party is at 21% approval. You guys hate each other. How are you trying to have a cohesive message and you don't even know what you stand for? You don't. You guys have reduced yourself to cursing on camera on TikTok. That's how pathetic you are. Chris Murphy is now walking around with a 5 o'clock shadow to look butch. Give him a round of applause. Chris Murphy is walking around with a 5 o'clock shadow, ladies and gentlemen. You want to see the picture? Let me put the picture up here. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I said, Chris Murphy, what is that? He's riding around with Max Frost, that 14-year-old from Florida who thinks he's a congressman. Didn't have a credit score to get an apartment in D.C. This guy is like the pillar of understanding the economy. Look at Chris Murphy there with the 5 o'clock shadow. As soon as I saw him with Max Frost, I don't know about you, how much television you consumed in the 80s, but I immediately thought of this TV show with Jeff Goldblum and Ben Vereen called 10 Speed and Brown Shoe. That's exactly, as soon as I saw them on camera together, I said, oh, look, it's 10 Speed and Brown Shoe. Max is Ben Vereen, by the way. Look at these clowns. No wonder you're screaming about polling data. You're so desperate, anything that you can get that shows that Donald Trump has got poor approval rating, you guys think that's a win. A win at what? You have no election coming up in a couple of months. You got nothing. You have nothing. You have no Supreme Court. You have no Senate. You have no Congress. You got nothing. The only thing you got are TikToks. That's it. It's a clown show. Running around defending Abrego Garcia, running around defending Mahmoud Khalil, letting your rabid dogs run around Yale and Harvard and Columbia, threatening Jewish kids. And you think we give a damn about polling data 95 days in? Talk about trying to distract. Maybe you don't get why you lost. Maybe that's the case. And I don't have to listen. I am so sick and tired of people trying to either defend you or to help you. I'm done. I'm done. But the reason why I say this, and this is to the conservatives or people who voted for Donald Trump or people who are concerned that the polling data is going to affect them in some way. What are you letting that obsessive compulsive disorder that people have, that when they hear it on the news, all of a sudden they start to panic? Did you see that on the news? They're saying Donald Trump is underwater. Maybe we made the wrong choice. Chill out. It's 95 days. 1,365 days are left. These are acts of desperation. This is to give Democrats good news so they can stop carrying themselves, because that's what they're doing. This is to give people hope. Have you been to these town halls where these Democrats are screaming and hollering? When are you guys going to do something? When are you guys? It's like they don't even understand civics 101. What do you mean, when are they going to do? They've got no authority to do a thing. The only thing these people can do is jump up and down and stomp their feet like a bunch of children. Do you understand that? Their whole existence is like when the kid gets mad when they can't get a cookie. I want my cookie. I want my cookie. That's all you want. You want everything, but you can do nothing. You are helpless. Get used to it. That's what we had to do. That's what we had to do. While Old Man River was screwing the pooch, we sat there and had to deal with it. Our frustrations were palpable. People were on the radio screaming and hollering, when are we going to end this? And we could do nothing. We had to make sure that we won the election, and we did. Now it's your turn. Sit down. Shut up. Take it all in. If you're lucky, you'll get something good out of it. This is one of those things where you kind of have to eat your broccoli. Eat your Brussels sprouts. Hell, eat your okra. Take your castor oil. Get mad. Because the only thing you got left is to riot. It's all you got left. That's all you got. And we knew you were desperate from the get-go. We weren't even 60 days in and you were burning down Teslas. You've got nothing. The only thing you got in your arsenal are tantrums. We know. We're watching. So sit back. Enjoy your little silly poll numbers while they last. But you're in for a long ride. And we're in the driver's seat. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to be glorious. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
You're going to the top because we played a
Okay, so we're going all the way to the top. Oh, hell, thank you. Telling you now. I just gave that beautiful.
My bad. that was a good.
It's a beautiful ending.
Good ending, yeah. It was.
Oh, thank you. Well, I really appreciate that. I told you, April 25th is a weird day. It is a real day. It's a weird day.
You caught me. I was eating a protein bar, so I couldn't say nothing.
That's all right. I'll just read comments inside the was it? Yes, Rama says that Mayor Pete is now sporting a beard too. I'm like, this is not the definition of man. Okay? Mayor Pete, you still have a husband. Okay? The beard's not going to change that you like guys. Okay? With all due respect. Okay? You married a man. The beard isn't going to change our perception of that. We understand manhood a little differently. Nothing against you and your relationship. I'm just trying to tell you. Putting on a beard doesn't automatically go, yeah. No, not at all. It's not working. Laura says, imagine if Donald Trump was attacked with nonstop hoaxes in his first term, and Dr. Fauci's China germ warfare. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I look at this now and I say, what are these people trying to celebrate? Like, what are they so excited about? They have no idea what they're excited about. Don says, because Joe and his party gave away the election with bad policies. Yeah, that's evident. But, here's the thing. It's not just bad policies, Don. You have to understand that these were things that were shoved down Americans' throats. That's what that was. You keep forgetting that. Everyone keeps forgetting that. A federal judge found the Biden administration liable for violating free speech rights of Americans. It's what he did normally, regularly. He went behind Americans' backs and he told social media companies to go after them. And we wouldn't have known that if not for Elon Musk and the Twitter files, which many of you ignored. This was stuff that was happening everywhere. So it's not just the policies of this administration, it was the outright condemnation of the American citizens, just people who disagreed with them. He attacked them, from parents to religious folks. Put the FBI on them. We got to take a break. I'm sorry. There's the news. All right, we'll be back in a minute.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Groton City Police are expected to have more to say stemming from an hours-long investigation at a home last week. Police spent over 12 hours between last Thursday and Friday at the Allen Street residence, but never said what they were looking for. That area was close to where human remains were found earlier this year, but police stressed throughout that no body was found. Police in New Haven addressing concerns about a serial killer in New England. In a statement, Elm City Police say that is not the case where Denise Leary's death is concerned. She's the city woman who disappeared last fall and whose remains were found earlier this year. New Haven detectives say her death has been ruled undetermined at this point. 7 years in prison for George Santos, the disgraced former New York congressman, learned his fate today. He pleaded guilty to charges of fraud and identity theft. He burst into tears and sobbed when the sentence was handed down. His attorneys had asked for 2 years prison time. 3 men under arrest for assaulting a cab driver. Happened last night just before midnight in the parking lot of a gas station on Connecticut Ave. Police say the trio refused to pay their fare and roughed up the driver, who sustained facial lacerations. Heads of state and royalty converging on Rome today for Pope Francis's funeral tomorrow in St. Peter's Square. But the group of poor people who will meet his casket in a small crosstown basilica are more in keeping with Francis's humble persona and disdain for pomp. President Trump and Argentina's president among the many leaders that are arriving in Rome later today. With summer concert season on the horizon, Senator Richard Blumenthal addressing his Boss and Swift acts that would require greater ticket price disclosure and transparency. WTIC News Time, 3:32. Here's the forecast.
Well, the rest of our Friday afternoon, very warm with sun and areas of high clouds, the high of 85. Mild tonight. It'll be clear to partly cloudy this evening, then cloudy late with a couple of showers, the low down to 58. Saturday, cloudy, couple of showers and a thunderstorm. It'll be breezy and cooler to start the weekend with the high of 65. Then Sunday, clouds and breaks of sun, windy and cooler still, the high down to 57. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
78 right now in Hartford. Dow down 26 points. NASDAQ's up 158, and the S&P is up 25 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. For over 3 decades, Cordell & Cordell has been on the front lines of family law. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Hi, Eric Hogarth, Money Wisdom. Do the wealthy think differently? Do they plan differently? And what should I be doing differently? Tune in this Saturday at 8:30 right here on WTIC NewsTalk 1080.
Connecticut Dental Professionals PC is seeking a dentist in Middletown, Connecticut. Duties include treat patients and provide dental services. Salary is $175,000 per year. Mail resume to Connecticut Dental Professionals PC, 1200 Network Center Drive, Suite 2, Effingham, Illinois, 62401.
This has been a tough winter. Don Cussin here. With constant freezing and thawing, our roads have become minefields of potholes. This can cause misalignment and tire damage. Now through April, Cussin Automotive has a great give-back special featuring a free alignment check. Our technicians will inspect your tires and suspension, and if you need repairs, we are here to help. Plus, as your local Napa Auto Care Center, you can earn a $50 give-back Visa card from Napa Auto Parts. For an appointment and details, call 860-289-2389 or go to CussinAutomotive.com.
Cussin Automotive. Unite. Cussin. Unite.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or ConsumerCellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audien Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audien is easy to trust. Visit audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
They say all come to those who wait, but not for those who wait for that next auto breakdown that could cost you thousands of dollars. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance Auto Protection Plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. For your free quote,
call 800-386-6029. That's 800-386-6029. 800-386-6029.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. No, you're going to hear about it.
Yes, please make sure you remember it is always the airing of grievance Friday, even when it's the Friday night dance party, even when it's ladies' night, it is always the airing of grievance Friday here on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. So if you got a grievance, give us a call, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Whether or not it is, like I said, a traffic jam or a traffic cone, whatever floats your boat. I've been dying to get you guys to listen to this young lady. I don't know if you've heard of her, Roland. Are you familiar with a young lady by the name of Remy Wolf? At all? No. Okay.
Remy Ma, yeah.
Say again?
Remy Ma, yeah.
Remy Ma's the rapper. This is a young lady named Remy Wolf. She apparently was a contestant on American Idol, and she left early because she got some contracts. So I heard this one song by her called "Hello" on a rock station. They played it once, and it was sort of like love it or leave it kind of deal. And I heard it, and I thought it was cute, and I started listening to her, and I realized something about this young lady. When I listen to her sing, or if I watch her silly music videos, which are very simple, she makes me smile. And I don't know why. Something about her is happy. This is Remy Wolf.
I'm a fine design, busy when you hit my line. I'm a working girl in a wicked world. I'm not an amateur, no piece of furniture. Oh, mother scavenger, my vibe is lavender. I'm on the internet. Coffee and cigarettes, just scanning checks. Fired for thinking that my head, that's what was close enough when I got high.
And she's just fun. Every one of her songs are just fun to listen to. She's got a little bit of language in some of them, which, again, I have to get used to because these young people, for some odd reason, there's an F-bomb in everything. But I overlooked that. She has this great song called, I think it's called Serial Killer. It's another song that I love by her. It's called Buzz Me In. She's got all of this great stuff. So if you really want to listen to new music, it's been out for a couple of years now, but if you want to listen to new music that actually makes you feel good, she's got this two song. That song I like because it's called Fired. I always think of Donald Trump when I hear that song. But there's another song she's got called Grumpy Old Men, and my wife makes fun of me because of that song. She goes, "Oh, I know why you like this song." And it is. It's a cute record, but that's every one of her music videos just seems like a kid having a blast singing music. She's got a fantastic voice too. I've heard a lot of her ballads and stuff like that. So if you're interested, look her up. You can find her on YouTube or anywhere. It is it's fun. Her name is Remi Wolf, Meremi, Remi Wolf. And again, she was a contestant on American Idol, and she left, I guess, to go out on her own before she was ever, I guess, voted on anything. And she's pretty much made an independent career of herself. And everything I've heard her in so far, I really, really like. Not everything, but a lot I've listened to. She's got a song about called Anthony Kiedis and Front Tooth. Those are two of my songs too. Serial Killer sounds like a lovely song. Polly, it is. It's a very catchy song if you look it up. If you listen to it, it's quite catchy. It's quite catchy. And again, barring the language in some of the songs, like I said, I try to look past that. I always look for the clean versions of those songs, like I'm the 11-year-old. Like I'm looking for the clean version of the song. It's like I don't need to hear all the language. It's not that it's laden with it. It's not like every verse has got a curse word in it. It's just sometimes it's kind of off-putting. What's going on, Michael A? I don't know. Her stuff is just, for me, it's just fun. So
off-putting. Come on, man. You gotta have you gotta hear the real version.
No, I don't. Crap. I don't need the real version. I just don't. It's just
you need it to feel it in your soul.
To feel it. Is that what it is? I need to feel it in my soul. That's I never thought of that. I never thought of that. I'm gonna find. Let me find the actual name of the song, because I know it's she actually did a Tiny Desk concert. I guess the New York Times does that little bit, and a lot of my favorite artists have actually done it. Okay, so Anthony Kiedis, that's that one. Oh, no, I apologize. It's not Serial Killer. It's called Sexy Villain. That's it. That's the name of the song, and it's like I said, it's a really, really catchy song. Thank you, Bob. I'm glad you will. Hey, let's go to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Peter is in Canton. How are you, sir?
Good. How you doing?
Pretty good, sir.
Long time no see.
I know. What's up? What do you got for me?
You know what irks me is a Democrat-affiliated judge, federal judge, can stop Trump's executive orders. That's ridiculous. One judge.
You know what? I look at it this way. The objective is to run the administration through the court systems everywhere, right? You thin out the herd.
Right.
You thin out the herd of the White House counsel. Everybody in the DOJ, all of the lawyers are going to this court, to that court, to this court, right? You spread them out, and you inundate them with court cases that they have to keep defending to the point that they are absolutely inundated and they give up. That's what they're hoping for. But I will tell you this.
Right.
Aside from the other administration that was, hit the ground running, but for them, it was like, hitting quicksand running. I think this administration had 4 years to focus on two very key elements of it. And that was one, the re-election campaign, and what they were going to do. Because you think about it. Right. You think about the first couple of days Donald Trump gets into office. Like after Inauguration Day, Donald Trump is in the Oval Office signing executive orders ready to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you have to ask yourself, how early on before Election Day, if not before Inauguration Day, did they have the ink still wet on some of these executive orders.
That's true.
You know? So I always look at it like that. I think this administration is going to hit some snags. There are going to be some things that are going to, kind of sucker punch him. But I think this team is ready for, I would say, Sugar Ray Leonard always got knocked down to the ground and he got back up and won the fight. So,
right.
So I really believe that.
To me, that's like a mouse stopping a cement truck in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not like this administration wasn't concerned with the roadblocks. I think they knew they were coming. Right. But here's the interesting thing. And this is the part I think is I can almost pinpoint this. And I wish somebody would challenge me on this. I really feel like the architect, the strategist in the White House that's getting attention, but for the wrong reason, is Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. The Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller how do I put this? He's an attack dog with a law degree, if you get my meaning.
Right.
He's always on the offensive and he's fearless. Right. He goes anywhere. And I think that him as a strategist is going, I believe that there's a part of him that's setting a trap for not just, congressional Democrats, but for judges as well as the media. I think that they feel like all of this is three-pronged in a lot of their strategy. So that's why I'm not all that concerned.
I think they should pass a bill where you pick 100 Democrat federal judges, 100 Republican federal judges, put it in a pool. Congress randomly picks out 5 federal judges.
Yeah. Hey, how about this?
3 Republican, 3 Democrat, and then those 6 federal judges get to decide whether to stop the executive order. So it's a little more fair.
Well, yeah, only thing I want them to do, look, if we got to hash it out in court, fine, we'll hash it out in court. But here's what I believe that we should do. I think that, one, you keep making these arguments inside these district courts, right? And I'm going to make the case in the next hour. I can explain to you why I believe Stephen Miller is brilliant in all of this.
Right.
And so is the Department of Justice. I'll explain that in the next hour. But what I think is happening here is that everything that's happening, everybody knew was going to happen, and they're setting a trap. And we've already seen something that happened yesterday and today that is now breaking out today that is going to cause these federal judges to take a step back, and I'll explain that to you later, though. Thank you, Peter. I really appreciate you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, man. Have a great weekend. Yeah, I think that Stephen Miller and plenty of others, I think that they are strategically baiting Democrats, baiting these judges into these fights and taking them to what can only be described as their constitutional limits, right? Sure, there are going to be some judges that are going to scream and holler. It's like, I need you to obey these orders or I'm going to hold you in contempt. Come with it. Come with it. You hear a lot of people, all of a sudden, remember the last judge who said they were going to hold Donald Trump in contempt? What did they do? They delayed the hearing. Why? No one's ever asked. And when the media isn't asking, and when the media isn't, prognosticating about that, it's not good. That's when the fear sets in. Why would they delay it? But I'll explain that to you in the next hour. Stick around. Because the audio I'm going to play in the next hour is going to tell you exactly what's going on. And I said earlier, April 25th is a weird day in all of this. I'm going to break that down because it's amazing. So don't forget, we got Mrs. on the Radio joining the show today for Ladies' Night. A question that I'm going to bring up to the ladies, and I hope she's not listening. She doesn't hear this. We did a poll not too long ago, or we're citing a poll not too long ago that talked about educated white women and the wokeness of our politics. You remember that? We talked about that. And so I want to ask the question of women today. Why do you think that they have been like we talk about the awfuls, the what is it called, the affluent white liberal women, right? Or female, sorry, whatever. Affluent white liberal female, yes. And about them, I have this weird feeling that there is something that is innate in women that I couldn't understand before, but I think I understand now. So I want to ask my wife about it, and I want to ask ladies about it today. So I hope you'll call in in the 5 o'clock hour, because I want to get to the root of this. I really feel like women, because they're more nurturing, I don't want to, I hate putting them in this basic sort of identity, but I think there's a nurturing nature that causes them to go a little ahead of their skis on certain things. So I'm going to break that down when my wife comes on the air and ask that question to women. Have they done that in their life to their own detriment? You know, it's like tried to save somebody. You know, Lord knows I have. I manipulated that scenario quite a bit. We'll talk about that as well a little bit. Also, stupidest thing I read today, I think I already kind of gave it up. It's a 10-speed and brown shoe. We'll talk about that as well during the program when we get back. So stick around. We're going to take a break. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views, and then we'll get into our first check of the weather and traffic with Jason Catarina and Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. So hold on. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Connecticut hospitals care for more than just patients. They care for our workforce, creating 245,000 jobs. They care for our economy as the largest employer in Connecticut. They care for our communities, connecting residents to health screenings, nutritious food, and stable housing. And they care for our future, making healthcare accessible, equitable, and affordable. Connecticut hospitals create real change by caring for Connecticut. Learn more at caringforct.org.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Yard Goats Baseball is back Tuesday, April 29th for 6 straight games against the Orioles affiliate. Tuesday, we've got a Bouncing Pickles pickleball paddle giveaway. Wednesday, we honor our most improved students. Thursday, we honor the people of the Dominican Republic. Friday, we've got amazing food and drink specials. Saturday, post-game fireworks. And Sunday, May 4th, is Star Wars Day. Get your tickets now at yardgoatsbaseball.com.
Attention. Have you
1 minute
dollars or more in credit?
And Mark the Shark is out of there today. We got Tom O'Hanlon.
With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-207-4545. That's 800-207-4545. Once again, that's 800-207-4545.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people.
O'Hanlon.
Yeah.
You're going to hear about it.
Yeah, I meant to say Tom O'Hanlon is in today with the BPS traffic. I knew he was in today. They did let me know in an email. I totally forgot. Anyway, I'm going to get to the phones in a second, but Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin admits that Democrats are weak and woke, urges the party to blanken retake the flag with alpha energy. Is she kidding? How you going to spend 20 years emasculating men, telling them to fem it up, and then tell them to retake the flag? You're going to tell them with alpha energy. No, dear. No, dear. No, those days are over. You can forget about it. Yeah, y'all need to toughen up. Too late. Not going to happen. White Mike, what's going on, sir? You got an airing of grievance today.
Well, let's kind of talk about sports a little bit if we can.
Are we going to talk about Shedeur Sanders?
Well, I'm going to talk about what confuses me about the support some people have for Shedeur Sanders, and in particular his behavior.
Okay.
Now, as we all know, Shedeur Sanders is a progeny of the 1%.
Yes, without a doubt.
Right. Shedeur Sanders went to private school his entire educational career until he slummed it at the HBCU. His butt has probably not sat on seats in an automobile that were not leather or Alcantara. He undoubtedly was chauffeured to school in a luxury SUV till he was old enough to drive his own. Can we agree on this?
Without a doubt.
So why is he putting on the minstrel show like he's some dude from the hood who's got swag when he's pretty much been his entire life around upper middle class white people?
I'll tell you what I don't understand about this kid. And I understand that he had the bad season the year before, and Roland and I were talking about it at the beginning of the show, before the show, saying that, he made it up last year. What was his record, Roland? 9-2 this last season?
10-3.
10-3. Okay, so 10-3. All right, yeah, the 10-3 season, he turned it around because he had a poor season the year before. And
a crushing loss to
who? Yeah, who was the crushing loss to who? To Ohio?
No, Brigham Young.
Oh, Brigham
BYU.
Young. Yeah, BYU. Yeah. Yeah, so with all of that, I said, okay, if I'm looking at his overall college record, which, again, sometimes these prognosticators never do. Like these statisticians, they never do. They always look at the last season and talk about how he's matured. And 10-3 is great and all that stuff. But when I hear people talking about the aftermath, like before the draft, it was, he's going to go in the first round. Then when he doesn't, everyone's coming up with every excuse in the book as to why he didn't. And many of it has to do with the same things that they said he was a shoo-in for, right? Was that he hadn't really earned it. And that's what I understand about this guy. So I kind of feel like Shedeur Sanders didn't go in the first round because of the point that you're making. And that is, he has had unearned media coverage because of who his father is. Yes, who his father is, and the desire for that kid. I think that everybody in the sports media was desirous of him to go to the first round, and when he didn't, then they decided to be truthful about it.
I disagree.
Okay.
He spent his entire educational career, except for the years at the HBCU, with the most opportunity to evolve himself and learn and become a better person.
I agree.
I mean, he grew up around upper-class white people. He had good teachers in a good school. And what's his default? Swaggy McGhetto. It's just, it's ridiculous.
Well,
you tell me this guy couldn't come out a good Christian like RG3, right? He learned nothing from his environment. He defaults to this. You see what he was wearing last night?
I know.
Wow.
I know.
The giant stain with, I don't know, a Bible encrusted in diamonds on it or something, in a custom room built with his logo, which is, legendary, with a dollar sign somewhere in it?
I know. And listen, I get it. I understand why people are ticked off about it, but you know what? He didn't go in the first round. I think everybody got what they wanted at the end. Let me go to a break. I got to get to our first check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Tom O'Hanlon. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. Apparently not. Hi, Tom.
We're still about, 2 years or so left on the...
I guess he's not there. Okay. I guess we'll just go to weather with Jason Caterina.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon
there
from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. We have a crash on 84 on the eastbound side between exits 52 and 53. The center lane is taken out there. Be prepared for delays. And westbound on 84, it was already busy between exit 54 and 46. 91 southbound between exit 44 and 42. They're doing some work in the two left lanes. And also southbound on 91 in Windsor, we have a little stop and go. Now we're also looking at delays on 91 northbound between exit 20 and 21. Founders Bridge still busy across the river into Hartford. 291 is doing okay. Wilbur Cross looks good, and Route 2 is stop and go, feeding up into 84. It is getting slower, but Route 3 looks good. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. For the rest of our Friday afternoon, sun and areas of high clouds, very warm with a high of 85. Tonight, mild, clear to partly cloudy this evening, then becoming cloudy late with a couple of showers, the low down to 58. Cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm on Saturday, a breezy and cooler day with the high down to 65. Then cooler still on Sunday with clouds and breaks of sun, windy too with a high of 57. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 3 o'clock, Hartford temperature 78 degrees. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The Senate chair of the legislature's Appropriations Committee says Democrats' proposed state budget won't further exceed the state spending cap to add assistance to school systems with budget problems. Senator Kathy Austin reacted to New Haven's call this week for help in closing a deficit of at least $15 million.
You know, we are not going to stop looking for ways to get more educational funding, but each school is asking for the same thing that New Haven has. They just happen to have a bigger microphone than some of the small communities that I represent.
Without new state help, New Haven is warning of teacher layoffs, program cuts, and even school closings. The Democrats' budget already exceeds the cap by about $215 million for the next fiscal year. Public mourning for Pope Francis is over. His funeral set for early tomorrow morning Eastern Time. Heads of state, including President Trump, will attend. CBS papal contributor Francis X. Rocca with numbers over the last few days.
The Vatican told us that over the 3 days, 250,000 people walked through. That's a big number, although it's only a fraction of the turnout that John Paul got at the last papal funeral 20 years ago. More than 1.5 million people walked through at that time.
And while en route to the Pope's funeral aboard Air Force One, President Trump addressed the situation in Gaza and the war between Israel and Hamas.
Gaza came up, and I said, we got to be good to Gaza. Those people are suffering. We got to be good to Gaza. We're going to take care of that. There's a very big need for medicine, food and medicine, and we're taking care of it.
A former congressman learned his fate on Long Island today. Here's correspondent Matt Piper.
Chance of Stop Your Deception as former New York Congressman George Santos is sentenced to 7 years, 3 months in prison. It's after he pleaded guilty to federal wire fraud and identity theft charges. U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, John Durham.
Finally, Santos has been held accountable for his years of fraud, deceit, and theft.
The 26-year-old accused of killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson last year has pleaded not guilty. Katrina Kaufman is at the courthouse where prosecutors are seeking the death penalty for Luigi Mangione.
What federal prosecutors say is playing into this decision to seek the death penalty are, for one, the intentionality and the circumstances surrounding this murder. It took place in Midtown Manhattan. They say this was meant to rally protests against the healthcare industry and draw attention to his ideological message.
Protesters turned out, including former Army intelligence analyst Chelsea Manning, who says the case is being fast-tracked.
We don't do that. We don't do that here. We don't do that in America. We don't do that with our justice system. We don't speed run justice.
Lawmakers on Capitol Hill pushing for legislation they say won't price concert goers out of seeing their favorite acts this summer. The bill is dubbed the Boss and Swift Act after Bruce Springsteen and Taylor Swift, respectively. They're just two artists whose recent tours were marred by ticket availability issues and price gouging. Senator Richard Blumenthal.
By providing a requirement that all of the price be told up front and not raised through junk fees and hidden charges.
President Trump was joined by Kid Rock at a White House signing of an executive order last month designed to clamp down on middlemen who jack up ticket prices. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. Dow up 20 points. NASDAQ up 216. S&P up 40. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
So, you want to buy a house. You could go online, do your research, find the dream listing, go see it, and get catfished. Back to the drawing board. More scheduling, more viewings, more this doesn't even look like the photos. You could finally find one that does match the photos. Then comes the offer. Stress rush? Yep, make that 3. And here's the paperwork. Yep, never-ending paperwork. It's a lot. But you don't have to do it alone. Because there's an agent who's a realtor here to guide and help protect you as you find the home that's right for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. Right by you.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. Here's another one of Remy Wolf's, one of her earlier tracks that I really, really like. Remy Wolf, R-E-M-I Wolf.
He likes his cherries when they maraschino. He likes his movies from the Tarantino. He never stops, he's always ready to go. Gas station glasses on his way to Rio.
She's just fun to me. I don't know what it is. And she sings like she cares. Now I'm going to ask the producer. All right, Roland, what do you think so far? I played at least 2 songs by her. What do you think so far?
The absolute worst music I ever heard in my life. I'm just joking. I'm just messing with you.
It's actually, I don't know what her.
Nah, she got. I went and looked her up. She got talent.
Yeah, she's like everything about her. Like I said, she's not one of these glam girls. Like I know everybody's into like the whole sexy Beyonce look and stuff like that.
Yeah, she's not that.
Nothing. Very, very plain Jane girl. She dresses like she shops at a thrift shop. You know, She's got a very authentic look about her. Like when I was,
she's not ugly though.
No, she's not. Exactly,
she's a cute
pretty.
girl.
But the thing that was weird, like when I was growing up in the '90s in New York, everybody I hung out with shopped at the thrift stores, and I know a lot of people remember like when the thrift stores were the thing. That's where you went shopping, and she's kind of brought that back to the retro look. You know, very flowy. What do you call those things? Like the little shawls and the sheer, sundresses. She's got that kind of appeal. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's very reminiscent of a Macy Gray, but I guess there's no other comparison to that. She's got a Macy Gray meets Natalie Merchant kind of deal. For those of you who don't know Natalie Merchant, that's what is it? 10,000 Maniacs. She went solo after that. I don't even think anybody listens to 10,000 Maniacs anymore. That was my thing back in the day. I was a big Natalie Merchant fan. When she went solo, that's when it got horrible. But I never liked Lisa Loeb, though. I don't know. Wholesome look. Yes, Lori, very much so. Edie Brickell was one of my favorites growing up as well. All right, anyway, we got to get into weather and traffic. We got Jason Catarino.
Yeah, we're just going right to weather because there's no.
Okay, Hanlon's not there?
Hold up. He literally just sent it.
Okay, good enough. All right, now we're getting to weather and traffic with Jason Catarino and Tom O'Hanlon in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the Brown Pindeers and Scott Traffic Center. On 84 westbound, busier now from the river to around exit 47. The delays start around exit
welcome
56
back, Zach.
and continue to 46. Now that's about 3 miles. Ports congested from exit 44 to
I forgot I was still on air saying that.
for an 84 eastbound between exit 59 and 60. That took out the 2 right lanes, and there's plenty of traffic. 91 southbound, still stop and go below 291 into North Meadows, and then more traffic as you're getting down into 84. 291, we're still good, moving on Wilbur Cross, and doing okay at routes 2 and 3. Traffic and weather together on WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
90s female singers. How about a little Tori Amos?
No doubt!
And maybe the Sundays. They did a really good cover of Wild Horses.
Oh, man.
Anyways, tonight, mild, clear to partly cloudy this evening, becoming cloudy late, couple of showers, the low down to 58. Breezy, cooler for us on Saturday. It's still going to be warm. The high is 69, but we're going to have some periods of rain and a thunderstorm. May lead to some ponding on the roadways. Saturday night, still breezy, partly cloudy. Cooler night, the low down to 47. That's going to lead to a cooler day Sunday, especially with the wind cranking along. Clouds, breaks of sun, the high 57. Pleasant and warmer heading into next week, though. Plenty of sun Monday, the high 74. Feel a little bit summer-like on Tuesday. Increasing clouds, warm and breezy, the high moving up to 79 on Tuesday. Oh, right now it's 73 in Waterbury, 75 Danbury, 71 Bridgeport, and 75 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Need dental implants? Columbia Dental's prosthodontic experts specialize in placing and restoring implants for a natural, confident smile. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
At Joe the Plumber, we've heard all the jokes about plumbers' pants and plumbers' butts. And just for the record, none of our very skilled technicians wear their pants that low. Except maybe Bob. Sorry, dude. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
We might
a successful
be.
retirement
Zach.
doesn't just happen. It requires a plan that is custom built to suit everyone's individual financial situation. Every Saturday at 3, we share vital information on how to build and live a successful retirement. It's On the Money with Jay Dorso. Retirement strategies on building income and proper protection from the pitfalls and the latest news in the retirement universe. On the Money with Jay Dorso, 3 p.m. this Saturday on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more, and as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code RADIO. swishradio.com, code RADIO.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plan for auto pay and e-billing, taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. No, you're going to hear about it.
All right, airing of grievance Friday right here on News Talk 1080 WTIC. We'll get to the phones in a moment. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. I want to give it up for Jason Caterina. Look, I know that this is probably going to be frowned upon as an idea, but I'm just putting it out there. I'm sick and tired of Jason Caterina being out of the loop. I want him on the mic. He brought up somebody. Jason, you have no idea what you just did. I forgot I went to this woman's concert. Love her. Love this woman. This is Tori Amos. With a track that I fell in love with called Cornflake Girl. Did I tell you I was bullied by a guy named Cornflake?
Never was a cornflake girl. Thought that was a good solution, hanging with the raisin girls. She's gone to the other side, giving us a yo-yo.
She was so damn hot. Still is. Red hair and everything. I saw her at the Beacon Theater in 1996, 97, I think it was. And she did the most powerful piano rendition of Smells Like Teen Spirit in honor of Kurt Cobain after his passing. And it still gives me chills. Tori Amos, man. Whoa, talk about taking me back. Thank you for that, Jason Catarina. You have no idea. Totally forgot about her. And she's still beautiful. I always thought that may have started or at least reinvigorated my love for redheads, just without a doubt. Let's go to Adam in East Hartford. How you doing, Adam?
Pretty good. Pretty good, Reese.
What's going on, sir?
I had somebody give me a ride back from the eye doctor. We got in some heavy traffic, but I don't know if you've been following some of the news stories through the day in the Connecticut local political world, and maybe Fred from Middletown updated you or Ferris, but there was a little bit of a squabble between Amy Borden and Christine.
Oh, no, I did not hear about that.
Yeah, basically, to make it the long story short, I know Christine is against the, pushing of the transgenderism on kids and the books and all that.
Okay, wait a minute. I might be familiar with this. Does this stem from the board meeting with Christine?
Could be, but Amy was just making a good point that like 75 or 80-year-old women were getting scared when Christine was going into the ladies' room.
No. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Christine's going to have to call me to find out about that. I'm going to have to find out about that from Christine. So Christine,
I'm not saying that Christine's not a Republican, but Amy said that Christine was not a Republican. But I didn't want to touch that for a poll.
I don't, everybody's always talking about who somebody is. Thank you, boss man. I appreciate you. Let me get to a couple others. I got some stuff I need to get into this hour. Let me play this real quick before I get to some others, because I'll get caught up in these phone calls and I won't get to play it. So, okay, what was I talking about with April 25th? Well, April 25th seems to be a weird date. Why is it a weird date? Because we've had 3 judges who have been arrested on this date. Did you know that? It is the craziest thing in the world. You may have heard about Judge Hannah Duggan. She's out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. She was arrested by the FBI for allegedly obstructing an immigration arrest, an arrestive operation involving Eduardo Flores Ruiz, an undocumented immigrant. Federal prosecutors claim that Duggan intentionally misdirected ICE agents and escorted Ruiz through a private exit in her courtroom. This is Pam Bondi on Fox News talking about Hannah Duggan and that crime.
Learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out, she goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom, you're not going to believe this, takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out of private exit and tells them to leave, while a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow. That's crazy. Again, April 25th, she's arrested. Also on April 25th, we have the charging documents for Joel Cano and his wife, Nancy. They were arrested by ICE for allegedly harboring Christian Ortega Lopez, a suspected member of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. Ortega Lopez, who illegally entered the U.S. in December of 23, was living in a guest house of the Canos property after being hired for home repairs. Court documents indicated that he was arrested in February of 2025, along with 2 other Venezuelan nationals. During the raid on the property, there were 4 firearms that were seized. Turns out that Joel and Nancy Cano were charged with 1 count each of tampering with evidence. Pam Bondi again on Fox News talking about their charges. And this is the crazy part.
What charges will Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones, himself took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to protect him. The wife also is charged with destroying evidence. Sandra, not only that, this TDA member, and he had on a necklace that said kill, something about death. He had tattoos all over him. He also had on his cell phone pictures of two decapitated victims, decapitated, gruesome photos, and he was sending them out, and whoever he was sending them to was sending back, say, hey, you need to be careful. You shouldn't be sending these. You shouldn't be texting these photos out. Not only that, these two, the judge and his wife, gave him assault rifles that belonged to their daughter. That's what they're charged with. In the criminal report affidavit, he goes to a shooting range with these assault rifles.
So you can understand exactly where this is. These are judges who are assisting, aiding and abetting with gangbangers and assaulters, violent people. Now, I get a lot of pushback from so-called African Americans. I never hear them getting outraged about these judges who seem to be working very hard for people who aren't from these countries. I don't hear any black folks asking the question, hey, judge ain't never looking out for me. You guys are always talking about criminal justice reform. These judges are getting themselves locked up by the FBI. And as Lori mentioned in the chat room, Judge Shelley M. Richmond Joseph of Newtown, Massachusetts, also arrested on April 25th of 2019. She was arrested along with her court officer, Wesley McGregor. They were indicted on federal charges of obstruction of justice and conspiracy to obstruct justice and aiding and abetting. Prosecutors allege that in April of 2018, Joseph helped an undocumented immigrant, Jose Medina Perez, evade ICE officer by allowing him to exit the courthouse through a back door after a hearing on drug possession and fugitive charges. Medina was a Dominican national, previously deported twice, is reportedly released to avoid ICE detention in the courthouse lobby. She let him out the back door. So as I'm trying to explain this to you, while you have these district judges who are aiding, keeping these people in the country, you have these judges who are actively doing things, criminal things to get them out. By the way, here's the crazy part. You want to hear something crazy? The last woman I mentioned from 2019 who was arrested on April 25th, 2019, her name is Shelley Richmond Joseph. She's still on the bench. She's still on the bench. Yeah, she was allowed to apologize. And in a proffer, she actually admitted she was allowed to proffer, which in essence is you're able to tell exactly what you did without legal consequences. She told exactly what she did. She helped an illegal escape ICE detention. That's what she did. She admitted to it. So you have these judges that are being stopped doing this, aiding and abetting. This guy, they know he's... Now, how do I know the Cano, Judge Joel Cano, how do I know that this guy's aiding and abetting gangbangers? Why did they grab their cell phones and destroy them with a hammer? Why? So when I hear these people talking about a judge said, these judges are activists. And these district attorneys, yes, I'm talking to you, William Tong, go around judge shopping because you know these judges are aiding these criminals. They're no better than them. They are all in concert with one another. William Tong, what is her name? Letitia James, we know that's criminal. We know she's a criminal. Tong is in bed with all of these people and these judges who are clearly, think about it. How much evidence do you have to be presented to you that a guy is a part of MS-13 for you to still be advocating for his return, knowing damn well he's never going home, no matter what? You can bring him back to our shores. You can bring him right up to the beach where his little toes are still touching the water. He's still not going home to homegirl. His wife is never going to see him again, unless for some odd reason she wants to be picked up and stay in a jail in some Venice, in El Salvador. And she's never going there. She's going to grab every bit of that money and she's going to buy herself an SUV. That's it. I don't understand it. I don't get it, but there you have it. CNN's talking about, oh, this is unprecedented. They couldn't believe a judge got fired, got arrested for this.
FBI Director Kash Patel says a U.S. judge has been arrested for obstructing an immigration operation. Let's go live right now to our senior crime and justice correspondent, Caitlin Poland. It's pretty dramatic. What are you learning, Caitlin?
Truly, Wolf, this is something that we have certainly not seen before, but appears to be part of this aggressive approach the Trump administration has toward immigration. What the FBI Director Kash Patel announced in a social media post just a few minutes ago this morning is that just now, the FBI arrested Judge Hannah Dugan out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, on charges of obstruction after evidence of Judge Dugan obstructing an immigration arrest operation last week.
All of this looks bad. All of it looks bad. Now, what do you think happens when this stuff goes viral? When every one of these stories go viral, what do you think happens? The credibility of these district judges, the ones that the media keeps trying to promote, they're just asking for due process. These judges, they put the kibosh on all of that. All of that credibility is over. And again, what's with this nonsense? Because they're a judge, all of a sudden, no scrutiny whatsoever. Are you kidding me? Can I give you 2 words? Clarence Thomas? How about Samuel Alito? Seriously? You can't scrutinize judges? I can't believe he's actually saying these about judges. It's your judges. You can say anything you want about ours, right? Yeah. It's typical. So yeah, all of this is insanity. It's crazy. It's insane. But this, exactly where the tide turns. And you can damn well bet that Kash Patel put out this warrant to arrest Hannah Dugan, and posted that on social media for exactly the effect that it got. And that is, this makes every judge who is holding up the Trump administration's deportation of illegal criminals, it starts to put scrutiny on them from the American public. It is brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. This is one of those days where you can't say, oh, that sounds like a coincidence. It's not. It is well orchestrated. Now the real targeted approach towards getting illegals out of the country, going after corrupt judges, going after corrupt attorneys generals, all of that, that's all being laid out. The strategy is laid bare. This team is not playing by ear, without a doubt. Both of these judges coordinated, and you're going to make them the face of every district judge. I promise you they will. Lori says that Kash Patel and Pam Bondi are the perfect combination. They're a good combination. Don't get me wrong. I'm not disparaging them, Lori. I'm just saying I would have liked Dan Bongino as the FBI director. Just in my view, I would have liked Dan. I like Kash Patel, but I would have liked Dan Bongino. That's just me. But I love the fact that he's deputy. I like the fact that he's deputy. I think that would have been too much for people to bear, because if his confirmation hearing would have been, there have been so many bombs thrown. So many bombs. I could imagine that. Dan Bongino on a stand, screaming and hollering at people. That would have been great. That one's for you, Jason Katarina. Little cornflake girl before we get out of here. Damn, he had to bring up Tori Amos. Now I'm dreaming about her. Don't tell the wife, she'll be here soon. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Jason Katarina and Tom O'Hanlon filling in for Mark Christopher. Hey, Tom.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. On 84 westbound, we're busy. Exit 54 to 46. Founders Bridge is loaded up on the westbound side, crossing the river into Hartford. And still that trouble with a crash on 91 southbound between exits 30 and 29A. The left lane is taken out. 91 southbound has that work going on until 6 p.m. between exit 44 and 42. That's happening in the left lane. And also on 91 northbound, stop and go, exit 20 to 21. 291 is moving. Wilbur Cross is okay. Route 2 has stop and go up into 84, and we're moving on Route 3. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. And 614. Save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
WTIC weather. For the rest of our Friday afternoon, a very warm day with sun and some areas of high clouds, the high of 85. Tonight, remaining mild, clear to partly cloudy this evening. It'll become cloudy late with a couple of showers, the low down to 58. Saturday, a cloudy and cooler day with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Breezy, the high down to 65. Then breezy Saturday night, partly cloudy, a cooler night with the low down to 46. A cooler day Sunday as well with clouds and breaks of sun. The wind's certainly going to have a little bit of a bite to it with the high down to 57 after the very warm weather we've had. Then rebounding nicely heading into next week on Monday, pleasant and warmer with plenty of sun, the high of 74. Increasing clouds Tuesday, very warm with the high up to 79. Clouds and sun, a shower in spots Wednesday, still breezy, the high of 71 on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
It's 4:30. Good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. An arrest has been made in connection with human remains found in Groton. Police say 68-year-old Donald Kofel is charged with murder and the death of 58-year-old Suzanne Wormser. Her body was found last month near a cemetery. Police spent hours investigating a home on Allen Street last week they say is tied to that crime. Kofel is being held on $1 million bond. Amid rumors spreading on social media of a serial killer lurking in New England. New Haven police say Denise Leary's death has been ruled undetermined, while adding that there are no apparent signs of foul play, at least at this point. Leary went missing last September. Her remains were discovered back in March near her home. 3 men are accused of roughing up a cab driver in Norwalk Thursday night. Police say the 3 refused to pay their fare. They beat up the cabbie, stole some personal items, and now are facing assault and other charges. President Trump en route to Rome for the funeral tomorrow morning of Pope Francis. 3 days of public viewing by ordinary mourners and statesmen alike have ended, and the pontiff's coffin has been sealed. And disgraced former Congressman George Santos has been sentenced. He gets over 7 years in prison for the crimes that got him booted out of Congress. He apologized and appealed Friday for mercy, then sobbed when he heard his 7-year sentence handed down. Wall Street, the Dow gained 20 points today. The NASDAQ was up 216, and the S&P picked up 40 points. Red Sox baseball on TIC tonight, right after the 6 o'clock news. Sox begin a series in Cleveland against the Guardians. 6:10 with the pregame here. Yanks begin a series with the Blue Jays tonight at home, and the Mets are in D.C. to take on the Nationals. Eastern League, Yard Goats hit the road. They take on the Somerset Patriots, 6:35 the first pitch there. And in the NBA playoffs, it's the Celtics at Orlando. The C's lead that series 2-0. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in well over 90% of cases. Here is one of our patients, Bill, sharing his experience on our ED treatments.
My name's Bill, and I'm a patient at Northeast Men's Health. I suffered with ED for a couple of years, and I wasn't satisfied with my intimate life with my wife. If you have a problem, find a solution. If you have ED, seek out Northeast Men's Health. Go there. You've got nothing to lose. I am having good sex, but it's not just about the sex. Colors are brighter. My mood was brighter. I had more passion for everything in my life, not just sex, everything. I'm going to Northeast Men's Health. Go there, give it a try, meet the people there. They'll take care of you.
Thanks, Bill. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call today, 800-930-5956, or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com.
Success is picking up extra. Now you want to be the boss.
Success is getting your foot in the door. Now you want to take the next step. Success looks different to everyone, and University of Maryland Global Campus can help you reach your goals. And there's never been a better time to get started on your future. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 14th. As an accredited state university, UMGC has been transforming lives for over 75 years. With more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, online and hybrid courses, personalized support, financial resources, and lifetime career services, achieving your dreams is more possible than ever before. Choose the program that's right for your career goals and get started on your next success. Get your application fee waived now. Classes start May 14th. Learn more at UMGC.
Oh, right here we go.
Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I technically should be mad at Jason Caterina because now I'm going through all of my old 90s rural pop singers. I remember a young lady by the name of Alana Davis. She has a song called 32 Flavors. I remember when she filmed this music video. Now, the only reason why I mention her is she's practically a nobody. She's an unknown in that scene, but she had a music video. She had about 2 music videos back in the day. Her name is Alana Davis. But my best friend at the time, a guy named Mark, was dating her. And I used to date her best friend, Jennifer. And I'm just looking at her music video now. I was like, I remember when she filmed that. And it's right around the way where we used to live in Greenwich Village. So Alana Davis had that same sort of Lisa Loeb, Tori Amos, when everybody had the Macy Gray was, everybody was doing that same sort of Edie Brickell kind of music. God, Jason Caterina, you took me back. Gosh, did you take me back? I'm sitting over here listening to this going, wow. The 90s were great in New York. That place is not. I was just listening to somebody recently. It says New York is never going to be the place that it was before. It's over. And that really, in a lot of ways, that breaks my heart. Because I kind of feel like I came into my own moving out of Queens, going to a big city. It sounds crazy because, being from Queens, you kind of think, it's like, isn't that the big city? No. The neighborhood I lived in Queens is a small town. Everybody knew your business like any other small town. If you knew everybody, everybody knew you. If you got into trouble, everybody knew about it. Something happened to you or your family, everybody knew about it. It's like, it's close-knit. Nobody needed the interweb back then. All you had was the, washwomen at the local laundromat. Everybody knew your business. So when I moved into Manhattan, that was a big city. I've got friends for years who got married, who lived in Queens and never left. I knew guys who had to beg permission to go to the Knicks game in Madison Square Garden out of Queens because their girlfriends or wives wouldn't let them go because New York was completely it was like going into the unknown or to the abyss. But when I moved to Manhattan from Queens, that was the scariest thing I'd ever done. And I lived there for 15 years. And I still say, at that time, perfect. But as soon as Bloomberg came around, straight to hell. Just not the place that it was. People say it's still nice to visit, but I don't. I just saw a story this morning. A guy got stabbed on the subway because he stepped on somebody's foot. In New York City?
Yeah, you can't do that as a violation.
I don't care if it may be, you're a knucklehead. It may be a violation, but it's New York City. It's a crowded city. More than likely, you're going to step on somebody's shoe. But should someone have to die? No, it's ridiculous. You just, again, subway, another thing. Imagine this. When I was homeless, I slept on the subway. I did, on the F train. Went all the way from Queens all the way to Coney Island. It's like 2.5 hours. Can't ride the subway anymore. I'm scared to death to go there. I don't even want to visit. If I have family members who end up like, hey, we're going to be in New York, want to join us? No. But please call me when you get out alive. Never going back. Never going back. For nothing. Somebody said to me, John Beckman said, well, what if they gave you a radio job in New York City? No. No. Absolutely not. You wouldn't even go in for work? No. No. Do you understand that? No. No amount of money. You'd have to give me Secret Service detail. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic. Jason Caterina's got your weather. And Tom O'Hanlon's in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. But what am I telling you for? He'll tell you who he is.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. 84 westbound still busy, exit 54 to 46. Founders Bridge has some brake lights going westbound crossing into Hartford. And 84 eastbound in Cheshire was slowing down, exit 25A to 27. A crash in Hartford on 91 southbound involved 3 vehicles between exit 30 and 29A. The left lane was taken out there. 91 southbound also construction between exit 44 and 42 in the 2 left lanes. And delays on 91 southbound in Windsor. 291's okay. Wilbur Cross is moving. Route 2 still showing some slowdowns up into 84. On Route 3, we are looking good. And traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
After a beautiful day, mild tonight, clear to partly cloudy this evening. Cloudy late with a couple of showers, the low down to 58. Breezy and cooler for a Saturday with periods of rain and a thunderstorm, a high of 69. Then Saturday night, still breezy, otherwise partly cloudy, the low down to 47. Clouds with some breaks of sun Sunday, windy and cooler. It's going to feel cool with that wind cranking along with the high of 57. Pleasant and warmer, though, heading into next week. Lots of sun, the high jumping back up to 74 and feeling a bit summer-like on Tuesday. Warm and breezy, the high up to 79. Right now, it's 61 in New London with the wind coming off the water, 75 in Mansfield, 75 in Hartford as well, and let's do 78 in Bristol, too. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hi, Eric Hogarth, Money Wisdom. Do the wealthy think differently? Do they plan differently? And what should I be doing differently? Tune in this Saturday at 8:30, right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel walk-behind zero-turn and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, retirement, maybe even kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you really need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. We're committed to helping protect your personal interests and the life you've built. Don't let divorce take more than it has to. Talk to us today.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will...
1 minute.
Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Well, Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can get a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. It all starts with an online intake form. Get started at Hims.com/joy, and from there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs with options up to 95% less than the brand names. Millions of men experience ED. But Hims can help. And save up to 95%. Go to Hims.com/joy. That's Hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Yes, it's ladies' night. The feeling's right. Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, what a...
Yes, we will have Reese on the radio on in a little bit. She just came in here and told me what she wanted for dinner. I'm not cooking. Don't get nuts. The only thing I make are reservations. There will be no cooking on this hand. I do that once every 5 weeks. I will cook something. And it's usually very simple. Nothing too crazy. I don't get like rolling, over here like Paul Prudhomme or, Gordon Ramsay inside the kitchen. I'll make you a sandwich. That's about it. Let's get to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. We got plenty of people on the line. Let's go to Fulton. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on? My grievance today is Chris Murphy, our representative, is in North Carolina. I don't know what he's talking about to them about. He's got some beard, he's swearing. And then the other guy, Blumenthal, he's fixing tickets for the Swifties and people who like the Boss. So for any 75-year-old man that wants to go to the Boss concerts and Swifties, you guys will be all set. But if you want to afford eggs and gas, I guess they're not going to take care of that.
I think you're 100%. I think you're.
You think Tim can defend these judges? You think he'll call up and defend them?
He can't. No, listen, trust me, we know what he can and cannot defend. That's why he's not here. These judges really made their own case look horrible. They look horrible. By the way, I put up the picture of Chris Murphy and Max Frost, or as I like to call them, 10-speed and brown shoe in North Carolina. You know,
it's like his tough guy picture or something.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's bearding up. I don't know what that's about.
It's sad, but they're not in Connecticut, so
yeah.
Do they represent us? Does anybody want cheaper tickets? I don't even know when the last one went to a concert.
Exactly. I don't know what they, again, probably because they know they can't do anything, so why not just go on a nationwide tour? That's what else can they do?
I think you talked about formaldehyde one time, getting formaldehyde out of stuff. Like some meeting that was like important, some other off-the-wall topic. It's like
they've got to do something. They've got to do something. They have nothing to do. They can't just sit down and shut up because they know that they're irrelevant at this point. So what are you going to do?
I like it. He walked in. He's like, I'm going to lower prices. Everybody's like, thank God you're going to lower prices for gasoline. He's like, no, tickets for Taylor Swift concerts, everybody. And everybody's like, yeah. Right? All right. Well,
thank you, buddy.
Weekend, buddy.
You got it. You too. You got it. Thomas in Thomaston. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, you put a big smile on my face. I'm always listening to new music.
Okay.
I loved Tori Amos
in
the
you?
90s. She's mellow and intense at the same time.
Very much so.
Not to mention, she's very good looking. Yeah, I used to listen to her all the time. In fact, I'm going to go home tonight and pull out a CD and play it while I'm relaxing.
It's funny because I just got Mike the mailman just sent me a text message. And he's like, I'm already digging in and grabbing my 10,000 Maniacs CDs as well. I totally, there was a certain era right there in the mid-90s where a lot of these women were into, there wasn't a poppy look. It was a very earthy sound coming out of females. And I know some people are going to say, what about Alanis Morissette? Alanis Morissette was very popular. A lot of these women that we're mentioning were kind of underground pop. I'll give you another name, Tom. I'll give you another name to see if you remember her. Out of Buffalo, New York, Annie DeFranco.
She was kind of short, had real short dark hair, right?
Yeah, well, she did all types of stuff with her hair, but let me tell you this. What made Annie DeFranco stand out to me is that who was the singer who died of the drug overdose not too long ago? She sang that song Valerie. What's up? Roland, now you got to know the woman's name. She was the
I don't know it.
She had this song called Rehab. Oh, somebody's got to remember her name. Come on.
Amy Winehouse?
Amy Winehouse. Yes, Amy Winehouse.
Oh, yeah.
Amy Winehouse.
Right. Yeah,
Before
exactly.
Amy Winehouse, there was Annie DeFranco. Because that was the first time I'd ever seen a girl, slim, slender, and attractive, have piercings and tattoos all over her. Annie DeFranco. If you go look her up, she had a lot of great stuff back in the days. She was out of Buffalo.
Reese, I know you know this one. My favorite female piano player is Nina Simone.
Oh, come on. Every one of those women were inspired by her.
Yeah. She was the best. I didn't like that she was always mean, and she was on the Tonight Show and kind of mentioned she didn't like black people or didn't like white people.
Yes.
And then I read that her daughter said, I loved my mother, but she was very difficult. And it, turns out she's kind of bipolar, so she probably didn't like anybody.
Yeah.
So now I even like her even more, so I know it wasn't personal. But I love Nina.
Yeah, I hear you, Tom.
Can I give a grievance?
Yeah, real quick. Sure.
Pre-grievance. The New York media and the judicial system is going to be 100% opposite of the way they are on Santos when it comes to, our friendly prosecutor.
Yeah.
It's going to get nailed for taxes.
Exactly. They're going to be
housing.
celebrating Santos and then condemning the judicial system for Letitia James. You're 100% right.
Exactly.
Yep. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. You too. Let's go to Lori first, and then I'll grab Christine right after. How you doing, Lori?
What is the context for this discussion about 90s women singers? I want to throw in Sarah McLachlan.
Okay. I'll put it to you this way. The women that I'm mentioning, if you notice, none of them were ever headliners at Lilith Fair. With the exception of Tori Amos. Tori Amos was at Lilith Fair.
Well, yeah, but I mean, oh my gosh, it's Suzanne Vega. If you want to, a lot of these women were probably inspired by Suzanne Vega.
I had dinner with her. I had dinner with Suzanne Vega, and the first thing I said to her was, I looked her right in the face, Lori, in Suzanne Vega's face. My friend had introduced me to her. He said, Reese, Suzanne Reese. I looked her right in the face, and I went, I couldn't help myself. Couldn't help myself. And she laughed and she thought it was funny. And she goes, I feel like you planned that. I said, if I ever met you, I couldn't wait to sing that to you. Because that song, the remix by these guys in Europe, the remix of Tom's Diner, that was what introduced me to Suzanne Vega. I would have never known Luca if not for the remix.
Oh, I mean, yeah, she had some really good albums. But so, I mean, I know we're talking about women who, well, I mean, throw 4 non-blondes into there. Because that was
yeah, I can throw 4 non-blondes in there. I don't think that they were my cup of tea. I thought they were a little over the top. Because I kind of felt like
the Cowboy Junkies.
Cowboy Junkies, same deal. I kind of felt like they were flash in the pan. So they had an appeal, but I thought it was sort of overdone. Like I felt like MTV was pushing them down in everyone's face. Same case with Lisa Loeb. Was this constant throwing? Do you remember the big deal about Lisa Loeb's music video? Do you remember the big deal about that?
No, but at one point in time she was married to Dweezil Zappa.
Yes, I do remember that.
That was interesting.
The big deal.
Go
ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, and I was going to say I've seen Suzanne Vega in concert. I've seen when I was in college. Now I'm really dating myself. When I was in college, 10,000 Maniacs came on a spring weekend and did a free show, and that was amazing. That was an amazing.
I don't care what anybody says.
show.
10,000 Maniacs was a great band. I hated when Natalie Merchant left. When she left, I just knew she was going to go top 40.
A huge mistake.
It was a big mistake,
Huge.
and I knew the band was going to suffer for it. But again, she kind of outshined them in a lot of ways. You were mentioning I was talking about Lisa Loeb. Do you want to know the biggest thing that I knew I couldn't stand Lisa Loeb was that they took her popularity from her when they mentioned that her music video was called, I think it was called You Say. Is that the name of the song?
Stay.
Was
Stay.
it Stay?
Is the name
yes.
of the song.
Yeah, the name of the song was Stay. Right. That music video is a one shot. It's only one shot throughout the entire apartment. Do you know who directed it?
Oh, gosh.
He is a famous actor. Well, semi-famous, I should say. I'll give you a hint. Not Denzel Washington, but he started a movie with him. No?
No. Okay, now I'm lost. No.
Ethan Hawke.
Oh, which it's because it was a song for Reality Bites, and that's the movie he was in.
Exactly.
You know what? But one other person I want to kind of throw into the mix. Do you remember Corinne Ray Bailey?
Of course I do. She was married to I think it was one of the defensive linemen on the New York Jets. I'll never forget her.
Yeah, she kind of still picked up on that earthy vibe. So did Erykah Badu.
Yeah, well, Erykah
India
Badu was in the
Arie.
class all by herself because I will tell you this about
fair enough.
Erykah Badu. I think that when I first heard, I don't care what her politics are. Erykah Badu brought a groove back that I hadn't heard in neo soul in a long time.
Yeah.
I will always respect her
Yeah.
for that. She really, really turned that whole thing out. Thank you, Lori. I got to get to one more because I know if I don't, I'm going to get to a commercial break. I love you. Let me go. Christine is in Middletown. I guess she's going to clear up this little tete-a-tete with someone in politics. How you doing, Christine?
Hey, Reese. I know I called Gary's show at the 6:30 segment, and I mentioned I had a meeting with State Rep Tom O'Day. During my public testimony, I offered a solution to we could help protect girls' sports.
Right.
And so I did, called in, and I switched to WFAN like I always do. Next thing you know, like less than an hour later, I'm on Take Back Connecticut, and Amy Borden has a screenshot of a tweet saying, Rep O'Day, don't fall for the liberal progressive proposal by transgender Christine Repstock.
Wow.
To me, my proposal was not liberal progressive. Connecticut law states that trans girls are girls, so any use of the term biological male prohibited from girls' sports violates Connecticut law. I had a proposal which the CIAC director, Glenn Lungarini, he didn't want to hear it when I talked to him at the legislative office.
I remember you talked. Is that the one that you talked to me about?
Yes.
Okay.
It's based on testosterone suppression.
Right.
Mine would be for 4 years, which is more than a student's in high school. And it's a metric that you cannot, it's not a loophole. You can't get around that actual metric. And it's better suited to withstand court injunctions and lawsuits. And I explained that to Representative O'Day. He didn't have time because Judiciary Committee was called into session when we got there today.
So this is just a misrepresentation of your platform being made by this individual, and I guess
I believe that. Yeah.
Has it caused a rift between you and Day? Is that where this is?
No. Representative O'Day was great to me.
Oh, okay, all right. So and I didn't want that to get out there because they were saying that there was some beef.
People have a beef with me. I don't have a beef with anyone. I'm trying to fix the solution, Reese.
I know you are.
Out there. Yeah.
I know you are. Well, good. I'm glad you cleared it up. How you doing otherwise? You okay?
I'm all right. It's just everyone's like you're hearing my name everywhere, and I always been something negative. You know what? Hey, I'm not the problem with Republicans here.
Hey, listen,
You know what?
Christine, I'm going to tell you an old Dutch saying, and I always bring up Dutch all the time. I used to tell him, why are they always talking about me? He said, boy, listen to me. You had to be concerned about when they're not talking about you, because then you're irrelevant. So if they're talking about you, it's because you're relevant. You know that. You know that. Your name rings bells in this town, okay? You know that. Don't ever sell yourself short. I know your name rings bells. You can be as modest as you want to, Christine, but your name rings bells. So they know you because they know you. And if they're talking about you, it's because they know you. All right? You're going to be all right. Just stand your ground and always fight back, and you're going to be good to go.
I appreciate that. Thank you for taking my call.
You got it. Always, always. That's just the way it goes. Right. Talking about you means they envy you or for something. I don't know what the whole female, I guess it was part of this whole Remy Wolf thing because I like the groove in her sound. It's pop, but at the same time, it's very rhythmic. And a lot of these women, like Cornflake Girl by Tori Amos, thank God I heard that song. I heard the other songs on it. They're sweet and fine, but Suzanne Vega, as Lori was bringing up. Suzanne Vega, I would have heard Tom's Diner and I would have said, what is this woman doing? Because if you ever heard the original Tom's Diner, Roland, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. Now, when you're a kid and you hear this and you've never heard it before, you just go, what the hell is this? And then you hear that.
And then you hear that. Once that beat drop is over.
The beat drops and it's like, oh, who are these people? And they turn the whole thing, they turn this whole music, just the song upside down. I will always love that song for that. And then, I heard songs like, My Name is Luca, which is fantastic. Such a great song. And the song is about, they couldn't hear you. They couldn't hear the version. That's okay. We'll play it later. Luca, which by the way, is the song by Suzanne Vega, is a song about child abuse. And that was a song that was ahead of its time because no one was really talking about child abuse at the time. But now people reference it whenever they talk about that, they bring that song back. I see a lot of people talk about that song after the fact. Allegiant Trucks, thank you, for Non-Blondes. Like I said, I don't know. I only know a few songs by them. Just a few. Anyway, when we get back, it's ladies' night. Mrs. on the Radio, Roseanne, she'll be here in a bit. We'll talk about some topics. We'll get some women involved. Get them on the phones. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Now let's get some weather and traffic with Jason Catarina. and Tom O'Hanlon, who's in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. 84 westbound busy, exit 54 to 46. Founders Bridge still slows down crossing the river into Hartford. At 84 eastbound, we're seeing plenty of action going up through Parkville. No accidents, but just a lot of traffic volume. 91 southbound, they've been working on that 3-vehicle crash between exit 30 and 29A. It took out the left lane. 91 southbound, also that construction in the 2 left lanes. Exit 44 to 42 till about 6 p.m. 91 northbound, stop and go in Middletown. 291's okay. Wilbur Cross is moving. Route 2 is heavier now up into 84. Watch for a vehicle reported on the shoulder near 84. Route 3 looks okay. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. For the rest of our Friday afternoon, a very warm day with sun and some areas of high clouds, the high of 85. Tonight, remaining mild, clear to partly cloudy this evening. It'll become cloudy late with a couple of showers, the low down to 58. Saturday, a cloudy and cooler day with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Breezy, the high down to 65. Then breezy Saturday night, partly cloudy, a cooler night with the low down to 46. A cooler day Sunday as well with clouds and breaks of sun. The wind's certainly going to have a little bit of a bite to it with the high down to 57 after the very warm weather we've had. Then rebounding nicely heading into next week on Monday, pleasant and warmer with plenty of sun, the high of 74. Increasing clouds Tuesday, very warm with the high up to 79. Clouds and sun, a shower in spots Wednesday, still breezy, the high of 71 on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. An investigation into human remains found near a cemetery in the city of Groton last month is now a murder investigation. The investigation also took police to a home on Allen Street last week. Groton City Police Chief David Burton.
The victim is identified as Suzanne Wormser, aged 58, who's a resident of the city of Groton. The suspect is identified as Donald Koffel, age 68, who's also a resident of the city of Groton.
Burton says the two were in a relationship. The chief further stated that the case was in no way related to rumors that have been flying about a serial killer in New England. Koffel is being held on $1 million bond. He's due in court on Monday. Luigi Mangione, the man accused of gunning down United Healthcare executive Brian Thompson in New York last December, was arraigned today on federal charges in Manhattan. His attorney told the federal judge the defendant would prefer the U.S. case against him to be tried before the Manhattan DA's office.
Mangione's attorney complained to the judge saying that she had information that prosecutors in the federal prosecutor's office had listened in, essentially eavesdropped. That's the word that she used on a phone call that she had with Mangione. A judge said that by next Friday, prosecutors need to explain what happened there.
CBS's Anna Schechter. Prosecutors are calling for the death penalty in that case. The state Senate chair of the Appropriations Committee says Democrats' proposed state budget won't further exceed the state spending cap to add assistance to school systems with budget problems. Senator Kathy Austin reacted to New Haven's call this week for help closing a deficit of at least $15 million.
You know, we are not going to stop looking for ways to get more educational funding, but each school is asking for the same thing that New Haven has. They just happen to have a bigger microphone than some of the small communities that I represent.
Without state help, New Haven's warning of teacher layoffs, program cuts, even school closings. The Democrats' budget already exceeds the cap by about $215 million for the next fiscal year. A Long Island judge has thrown the book at disgraced former Congressman George Santos. Here's correspondent Michael Wallace.
Santos sobbed as the sentence was announced. He had apologized and asked the judge for mercy, but she said she sensed no remorse. Outside the courthouse, former constituents like Vesu Krishnamurthy applauded the sentence.
His buffoonery was so extreme that it could not be ignored or sane-washed.
Santos pleaded guilty last year to wire fraud and identity theft charges for stealing from his donors to fund his campaign. He was expelled from Congress in 2023. Michael Wallace, CBS News, New York.
Tariff worries and expectations that the economy may be slumping having an impact on consumer sentiment. In its monthly survey, the University of Michigan finds an 8% drop in Americans' feelings about the health of the economy as it drives their spending decisions, and down 32% since President Trump took office.
What we saw was an 8% drop in consumer sentiment from March. Now, it was better than expected because this data incorporates some surveying from after the White House paused those reciprocal tariffs on April 9th. And it actually would have caused a little bit of a relief in consumer sentiment.
That's Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. We are on the cusp of summer concert season. Capitol Hill lawmakers considering a proposal to keep middlemen in check when it comes to the sale of concert tickets. Some, like Senator Richard Blumenthal, are pushing for passage of the Boss and Swift Act, a measure named for Bruce Springsteen and Taylor Swift. They're among the stars as tours have been marred by issues with ticket availability and sky-high fees tacked onto the price of a ticket.
And that cost is often so exorbitant that they are misled into purchasing them. Boston Swift Act is basically a fairness in concert. This is her court. It guarantees consumers the benefit of what they see up front.
Last month, President Trump signed an executive order designed to keep the players like Ticketmaster and StubHub in check. Wall Street, the Dow gained 20 points today. The NASDAQ was up 216 and the S&P up 40 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell.
1 minute.
Your cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yes, it's ladies' night, and the feeling's right. Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, what a night. Oh, yes, it's ladies' night. Oh, what a night.
Shaka Khan! That's right, my Shaka Khan is in the house, and that is Mrs. on the radio, Roseanne. Say hello to everybody, my dear.
Hi, everyone.
We are going to talk in a little bit with Roseanne, and I'm going to ask for women to call in. I want to hear from you. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. That's what Ladies' Night is all about. The question is, what is it about women that always take care of the lost cause? And I'm seeing that in every facet of life, you know, whether it's relationships or even with, like, I look at these judges. They seem like, I watched the video of Judge Cano's wife, Nancy is her name. If you saw the videos online where she is very nurturing and caring to these young men who are killers in gangs. They obviously knew what these men were capable of, but these women have this either nurturing or mothering behavior. In some cases, even my own wife, I've seen it out of her, where it's unfathomable and hard to recognize. But I know in my lifetime, I've used it to my advantage. So I'm trying to understand from women, if you can, call me up and tell me what I'm missing here. I don't think it's a liberal women thing. I think it's a fix you kind of a thing. Guys are not like that. I know we're not wired that way to try to fix people. So Roseanne is here. We're going to ask her. I'll ask her in full what I mean by this, and she'll explain that to us from her perspective. But I want to hear from women and what you think, or if you've ever done that. Have you taken on some poor, unfortunate soul and tried to save him from himself, no matter in what capacity it was. Let's get to that in a second. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Catarina and Tom O'Hanlon, who's in for Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. 84 westbound still busy, exit 54 to 46. And if you're going on eastbound 84 heading up into Hartford, well, you've got company. It's slow going up through Parkville. We're looking at some delays on 91, quite a bit on the southbound side, but they got rid of a crash in Hartford between exits 30A and 29A. Still a lot of leftover traffic volume. Southbound 91 also congested, exit 34 to 32. And on the northbound side, watch that stop and go in Middletown. 291's okay. Wilbur Cross getting the job done. 2 is busy up into 84. And Route 3, we are moving. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
It's been a great day. It'll be mild and clear to partly cloudy this evening, then cloudy late with a couple of showers, the low down to 58. Breezy and cooler, periods of rain and a thunderstorm on our Saturday. It's still going to be quite mild with the high of 69. Then Saturday night, still breezy, partly cloudy, a cooler night, the low down to 47. A cooler day to round out the weekend Sunday. Clouds with some breaks of sun. Now the wind's going to make it feel even a bit cooler, the high of 57. Pleasant and warmer heading into next week, though. Monday, lots of sun, the high 74. Feeling a bit summer-like on Tuesday. Breezy, the high moving up to 79 on Tuesday. Right now, it is 57 in New London with that cool breeze coming off the water, 68 in New Haven, but warm as you head north. Bristol, 76, 74 for Mansfield, and 74 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement this year? Then be sure to tune in to
Did you really reference Ursula?
Morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC
Ursula,
News Talk 1080.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
let
when
a
I
root
said
canal scare
poor
you.
unfortunate
I was
souls.
like, this dude here, yo.
Effective root canal therapy. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
I had the
1 minute.
night. You were in a car crash, and the
Yes,
kids
sir.
and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia. So hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audien Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair. And they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 25 by Forbes Health. And with over 1 million customers, Audien is easy to trust. Visit audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it.
Okay, we are back. News Talk 1080 WTIC, hanging out ladies' night with my fine and beautiful lady, Roseanne. As I like to call her, Mrs. on the Radio, which I'm actually going to see if we can get that to catch on. So my question was, and this is the thing that I was trying to figure out, is that when I was younger, if I needed a place to crash, right, in my 20s, I would always find a girl. I mean, I can honestly say that about probably every girlfriend in the 90s I had saw me as some sort of person they could fix, right? So they gave me anything and they let me off the hook, no matter how much of a screw up I was, because they always had this impression that oh, he's got so much potential. And I kind of see that in other when I saw it as a kid growing up and being able to manipulate women, as men do, we do when we're younger. The girl's gonna, fix him a sandwich, act like wifey.
If she'll let me, I'll let her.
Yes, if she'll let me, I'll let her. Yeah, there you go. So I feel like that immediately stretches beyond just relationships. I feel like they do that with their kids. Sometimes I feel like they do that with a homeless person they see walking down the street.
How many people did we? How many strays did we pick up?
Well, turn your mic towards you. I don't think they can hear you.
Can
how
you
many?
Hear me now?
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
how many strays did we pick up?
Yeah, we had people living with us.
Right.
And for a good while before I started working at WTIC, and I told you in the beginning that, look, there's going to come a time where we are not going to be able to house the world. And you had a huge argument with me about that. You said, I am never, ever not going to give up my house or my home to someone who is in need.
Yeah, I always said that I was going to open my doors when someone was in need.
Yeah, and then after
Case
you
in
did
point.
it, yeah, but then after you did it, what happened?
I have a tendency to hope for more than people are willing to do for themselves.
But see, with that, knowing that you are going to be disappointed at the outcome, what is that thing about going back to it that I don't understand? Because I feel I'm the kind of guy, and I know a lot of guys who are like this, who when burned, never go back. It's like all you need is that one guy to do it to you, and then you're never doing it again.
Women have a higher pain tolerance, I think. There's a reason why we have baby after baby after baby. The pain is beyond anything any man could ever comprehend. And once we're done having it and it turns a certain age, it's like, oh God, I need another one. It's our natural God-given instinct to love, nurture, create. It's within us. I don't know how. And again, not all women, right? I know that there are some women that are very different, and I get that. And not everyone is going to qualify or meet my bare minimum standards for assistance. But there are,
Have you ever done it? Have you ever done it to the point where it risked your well-being? Like
no. Outside of a marriage and children,
yeah,
no.
Okay.
For a marriage, I stayed in a marriage that ultimately, two marriages that affected me deeply on different levels, and then of course for our kids, I don't know any mom who's going to look at her difficult children. Not that all of my children are difficult, but no mom is going to look at her kids and say, you know what, I'm done. You're however years old. Get out of my house, figure it out on your own.
You ever hear, I've always seen this in movies and in other places as well, that fathers are like, especially when it comes to the boys, right? And I know that it's sort of like it's the opposite sex is always the way in which it goes. So if it's a daughter, she'll more than likely be able to get over on dad, and mom is the person who's always screaming at dad, you keep letting her get away with blah, 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 blah. And with boys, it's the same thing with their moms. The father's being cruel, like harsh and like, that boy needs to get a job. And the mother's always like, but he's a creative heart.
Well, first of all, so yes, I did have a daughter like that. I believe you and I actually early in the relationship, that was making me pretty upset. She spat her little eyelashes and put a little extra pout on that lip, and you're driving to the other side of town to get her Chick-fil-A. It was ridiculous. And with the boy, yes, I do tend to coddle him a little bit more. I am a little more sensitive to his needs. But I will tell you the one thing that I heard, Steve Harvey said this, and I will never, I know you're a huge fan. This woman was complaining about her husband being too hard on her sons, and Steve.
I do remember that video.
Yeah, Steve says to her, do you love your husband? Do you admire him? Do you like his work ethic? Do you like the type of man he is? Of course, she says, great things about this man. She says, so why are you stopping him from turning your son into another him, or teaching him to be
another
normal.
version of your husband?
Right, and that that spoke volumes to me. There are things that I would love for my son to learn from you in particular, not the, if they let me, I will, not that. There are things that are hard for me to watch, conversations that it's hard for me to listen to and not want to jump in and wrap my arms around my vulnerable baby. But I have to remember that I'm trying to raise a man, right? And in raising a young man to be emotionally stable and not emotionally driven, but emotionally cognizant, I have to step back and allow other men to pick up the reins now. It's their turn.
What do you think that and going back to the subject matter, I kind of feel like women are vulnerable in that space. And what I mean by that is that innate nurturing, right, is no matter who it is, they can find the good in like a guy in the middle. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. A guy and a girl could be walking down the street together and they see a homeless vagrant, whatever it may be.
I was thinking a puppy, but
yeah,
sure.
A homeless vagrant. And 9 times out of 10, the guy will say, don't give him any money. He'll only use it for liquor. And the girl will go, you don't know that. And she's immediately giving him the benefit of the doubt. That's the part that I don't get. I will never understand it. And I feel that way. Look, these 2 cases about the judges, right? Two of these judges out of the 3 that have been arrested were women. And they were domestic and violent cases that these women were finding in themselves to help out the criminal here. In one case, the woman who in Wisconsin who was arrested, the judge who was arrested in Wisconsin, she had the victims of his crime in the courtroom, and she found a way to get him out of the courtroom in a private exit. I mean, she aided and abetting getting the criminal, the guy who was in court for beating people, one of them a woman, badly. She found a way to get it. She, again, still found that vulnerable spirit in the guy to say, I want to help him. And that's the part I don't understand.
I think when it's to that extreme, there are some serious, maybe some mommy and daddy issues, maybe some, feeling badly about the way they parented their own children. Like there's a heavy compensation for something. There's, like I said, there are levels to which even I'm going, homeless vagrant, don't come near me. I don't want to smell you. A lost puppy or a dirty, mangy dog, different story, right? There's an innocence and a vulnerability there that this creature can't help itself. When you're talking about someone, defending rapists and murderers and human traffickers, that has more to do, I would think, with feeling some insecurities and overcompensation for some shortcomings in one's personal life.
Because I'm telling you, I looked at that and I kept saying to myself, the woman is in the courtroom hearing a case about him assaulting people, 3 people, one of them a woman he beat badly. He beat with his fist, beat them badly. She finds out that ICE is outside to detain him, and she gets it in her mind to assist in aiding this guy's escape. They had to chase him down when they found. Not only did she just give him at the back door. Let me see if I can actually play the story for you. What she did was insane. So, in fact, I'll describe it because I can't get the audio here. What she did was she found out that ICE was outside her courtroom while she's in a proceeding with the victims in the courtroom. She stops the proceeding, goes out to yell at the ICE officers.
A distraction.
Yeah,
if it
to
were.
tell them to go meet with the county clerk, with the court clerk. She directs them there, comes in, again, victims in her courtroom. She takes the defendant and the defendant's lawyer, and she brings them into a back chamber and then has them exit a private exit that no one knew about. They got wind of it and chased him down and ended up catching him. So now they're charging her with endangering the public and obstruction. But in my head, I'm going, because, yes, is he illegal? Yes. Is he probably somebody who doesn't belong here? Without a doubt. And clearly he's got a criminal history or he's got a criminal past. But the part in my head that says that this woman thought to herself, this guy is a victim of his circumstances, and I'm going to save him. There is something in that, because that's what she did.
Right. I can tell you with honesty, there are some mindsets that I will never understand. We've discussed a few of them. Women who use men for money, narcissists, never be able to understand that mindset. And apparently this, people with this complex that they believe that is their right to somehow get involved in situations that are beyond them, right?
Do you think this is an extreme case of someone trying to help someone she believes is?
I don't think that this has much, I don't think this is in the same vein as a woman being nurturing and helping a lost cause. I think that this is, I really don't. I think that this person, this particular judge,
but we have, hear me out. Yes, this particular case is extreme. But what I'm saying is that we have people, and women in a lot of these cases, who are taking up for the people who need to be held accountable for wrongdoing. Not just this stuff, but like poor behavior, saying things like, oh, they don't know any better, or oh, they...
But that's how they learn. Like, that's how they learn, is you punish them.
But I feel like there's this degree of having so much empathy, and I always see it from more, the awfuls, the affluent, white, liberal, female. I see it more from them, but they have this sort of,
I think in that regard, you're talking about these white women who hate the fact that they're white, that are just self-degrading. Like they hate themselves so much. And I mean, there's probably the same woman who was out there during BLM marches kissing the feet of black men. I mean, that's the same vein of woman, is I am so awful.
Yeah.
That I owe it to society, I owe it to the greater world to use my privilege, because all these white women that think they're so full of privilege because of their skin color, that they're doing these ridiculous things. I think it has a lot to do with that compensation. Like I said, mommy daddy issues, plus probably doing a crappy job raising their own kids, and then throw on top of it all this white guilt. I don't know. I can't speak to that. I believe that if a person has done bad, done wrong, they need to be punished, or else they never learn.
Tara P., our scallywag in the chat room, says, depends on the woman, Reese. I won't help a homeless person unless I know their situation. Tara, now you got to ask me, does that mean that you actually start asking them personal questions about their background? I don't know if anyone's got that kind of discipline, but I get it. I mean, I totally do. I don't believe that this is all women, but I know, look, all I'm saying is if there's a pattern, that's what I'm trying to understand. And it is a pattern. And again, as I said, look at these cases. These three judges, two of them were women, and what did they do? There were guys who were in there for violent crimes, crimes against other people, and these women found it necessary to, they're practically ruining their career.
Well, these are the same women who will marry a man on death row.
Yes!
This is the same woman who will be a corrections officer and have an affair with an inmate and help him escape. This isn't a normal person.
Do you think the Luigi Mangione thing is the same case?
Oh, absolutely. I don't see what's so... That guy has caterpillars on his face. I don't think he's attractive at all. But yes, I think these are the women that fall in love with serial killers. I mean, they're mentally unstable. They're not okay people.
I look at it on the opposite side, because I say, if there's a pattern of something on one gender that you never ever see on the other, obviously it's indicative of the gender, right? We don't see, sure, do we have men who have seen...
Well, correlation is not causation.
Right.
And I think that's... You're the one who's always saying, don't generalize.
I'm not generalizing, but I'll put it to you this way. Susan Smith, right? A perfect example. We don't see an overwhelming group of men who are dying to get with Susan Smith. And I'm not going to lie.
How do you know?
No. She's got some suitors. She does. She has some suitors. But they're not to the level of a Mangione. And Susan Smith, if you looked at her now, she was like, well, she's an attractive older woman. I can't get past what she did, but no, it's hard to.
Is she on the...
She's the one who put her two kids in the back seat.
Oh, in the car, not the bathtub. Okay.
No. That's Andrea Yates. Yeah. No, Susan Smith is the one who put them secured them in the child seats and ran.
You wouldn't have to worry about baby daddy drama, no child support. You know what I'm saying?
You're a mess. Goodbye. Let's take a break. You're a mess. We'll take your phone calls, and we want to hear from the women on this one. 860-522-WTIC. 860-522-9842. What do you think is with the trend with the Luigi Mangionis, the letting ICE detainers out of the police? I don't know. Let's get some weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Tom O'Hanlon, who's in from our Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. 84 westbound, we're slowing down as you're working your way over into Route 2 and continuing across the bridge into Hartford. It is improving, but we still have some lingering traffic there. Now, the eastbound side going up through Parkville on 84, you still see some brake lights, but not too bad. Now, we do have a lot of traffic on 91 southbound below 291 heading down to just before Hartford. That is leftover traffic from an earlier accident. 91 northbound's okay. 291, just some stop and go going east from 91. Wilbur Cross is good. Route 2 still fairly busy up into 84, and we're moving up Route 3. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
For the rest of our Friday afternoon, a very warm day with sun and some areas of high clouds, the high of 85. Tonight, remaining mild, clear to partly cloudy this evening. It'll become cloudy late with a couple of showers, the low down to 58. Saturday, a cloudy and cooler day with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Breezy, the high down to 65. Then breezy Saturday night, partly cloudy, a cooler night with the low down to 46. A cooler day Sunday as well with clouds and breaks of sun. The wind's certainly going to have a little bit of a bite to it with the high down to 57 after the very warm weather we've had. Then rebounding nicely heading into next week on Monday, pleasant and
what
warmer,
charges
plenty
Will
of sun,
Cano?
a high of 74. Increasing clouds Tuesday, very warm with the high up to 79. Clouds and sun, a shower in spots Wednesday. Still breezy, the high of 71 on Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. An arrest has been made in the city of Groton in connection with human remains found near a cemetery last month. Police say David Koffel is charged with murder in the death of Suzanne Wormser. Both were acquainted with one another. Koffel is being held on bond pending arraignment on Monday. Police in New Haven addressing concerns about a serial killer in New England. In a statement, Elm City police say that's not the case where Denise Leary's death is concerned. She is the city woman who disappeared last fall, whose remains were found earlier this year. New Haven detectives say her death has been ruled undetermined at this point. 7 years in prison for George Santos, a disgraced former New York congressman, learned his fate today. He pleaded guilty to charges of fraud and identity theft. Luigi Mangione, the man accused of gunning down a United Healthcare executive last December, was in federal court today to face charges. Prosecutors are calling for the death penalty. Heads of state and royalty are converging on Rome for Pope Francis's funeral tomorrow. President Trump and Argentina's president among the many leaders who are arriving. And 3 men are under arrest for assaulting a Norwalk cab driver. Happened last night just before midnight. Police say the trio refused to pay their fare and roughed up the driver, who sustained facial lacerations and had some personal items stolen. Dow up 20 points on Wall Street today. NASDAQ finished up 216 points, and the S&P gained 40 points. Red Sox and Guardians tonight on TIC. 6:10 is the pregame here. Yanks open a 3-game series at the stadium against Toronto. The Mets are in D.C. to face the Nationals. Eastern League, 6:35 first pitch for the Yard Goats in Somerset. And NBA playoff action tonight has the Celtics in Orlando to take on the Magic. Boston leads that series 2-0. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Men, is good enough really what you want with your sex life? This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. And if erectile dysfunction is making for a bad bedroom experience for you and your partner, you should call us because you want your intimacy to be fantastic, both for you and for the one you love. At Northeast Men's Health, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we're a medical practice focused on men's sexual health, we can offer many treatment options and even combine treatments to find the right one for you. Which means if you're like most of our patients, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in years. You can even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again. So make an appointment and make a change from good enough to really good. For just $99, you'll get a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. That's northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promedic restorative health practice.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared. And calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com. 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The airing of grievances. Grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. No, you're going to hear about it.
It's an airing of grievance Friday right here on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. I just got some amazing news, and it's not about us. Oh, yes, it is. We'll get to that in a minute. While I've got him on hold, let's go to Steve in Waterbury. Steve, what's going on, sir?
Well, Reese, hearing you talk about this, I think I'm going to open up my home to wayward women.
I don't look. It's crazy because I always I watched a lot of those movies, like that movie with Keanu Reeves, with those women who come out of the rain when their car breaks down, and then of course all hell breaks loose. That's the biggest, scariest thing in the world to me. Is like somebody knocking on my door and being later like, "Nope, I'm double locking the door, lady."
Gotcha. Hey, listen, I got two more points to make really quick. And
Sure.
It's funny because they mentioned that taxi driver that got robbed.
Yeah.
When you were talking about the liberals and how they treat like homeless or whatever, I was thinking about how Gene Wilder was in this movie where a guy refused to pay a taxi driver.
Yeah.
And he went to intervene. So basically, he's talking and he's trying to talk common sense into him. Meanwhile, the taxi driver has a pair of pliers, and let's say he just got the guy by the short ones.
Yeah.
And the guy's in extreme agony, and eventually end up paying it. So Gene Wilder thought he did it. But as far as, like, women wanting to fix up men or whatever,
yeah,
I kind of relate to it like that TV series that they had, Pimp Up My Ride. Guys might be more into, like, fixing up.
Okay, you know what? That's an analogy I had not thought of, but it makes sense. So you're saying that there are women who are treating these guys like Pimp My Ride. They get this thing that they get to sort of do a makeover on. I think, you know what? Now that you mentioned it, Steve, you know what I'm thinking of now?
Pretty Woman.
No, not Pretty Woman. I think that this all started with the giving girls a doll when they were growing up. They're always accessorizing, like the whole Barbie thing. In the Stacey
So they've replaced teen pregnancy with Luigi Mangione.
No, what I'm saying is Steve has got a good point. In essence, what they're doing is they're taking this sort of scrap metal that they see as a guy and they're trying to spruce them up, just like they do with all their dolls and their playthings. It's always about making it, it's always about making it better.
This is why men don't talk about women's. Like you guys, I can appreciate the attempt, but no. No.
You have to understand, that's the whole purpose of Ladies' Night. You're supposed to, listen,
right.
you're
This is
supposed
how the male brain works. Look, a box, I'm going to put stuff in it. And women are like, oh, a box, I'm going to put stuff all over it.
Yes.
Very different way of thinking. Absolutely.
Thank you so much,
I
Steve.
like thinking outside the box. But before you go, can I say one more thing?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've seen homeless people, and I do ask them their stories, and some I've helped. Some have actually lent money for coffee, and they would pay it back, and I see what they're about. But one guy I ran into I mentioned Goodwill to you the other day with that bicycle seat, and I go there on a regular basis. There's a guy who said he used to do drugs. He was hooked on it, but he never stole. What he would do is go and buy stuff, and he would sell it at a profit.
Right.
And that's how he would pay for his habit. And then It's just I just see the character of people, and a lot of them are scammers. There's some. I mean, if I see them collecting bottles and cans day after day, I kind of figured they're probably not.
Yeah, you got to again. Yeah,
Manhattan,
I say these guys have found a way to sort of employ themselves through all of that. Tara was just talking about that. She knows a guy who just does the empties or the returnables. And, you kind of give some props. Those guys you give money to. Those guys you help out. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about this. And it was something you just said that made me just think, Roseanne. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic with Jason Caterina and Mark Christopher's off. So we have Tom O'Hanlon in the BPS Traffic Center.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Traffic is brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. On 84 westbound, we're slowing down from Route 2 over to where it crosses the river. Then it's pretty good. Eastbound 84, still some lingering stop and go heading up into Parkville. Founders Bridge has been fairly busy crossing the river into Hartford. And 84 eastbound also just looking at some stop and go there, crossing the river as well. Now, 91 southbound, we've still had that traffic from 291 down to about a mile before you get into Hartford. That is a lot of leftover traffic from an earlier crash. 291 pretty good. Wilbur Cross is all right. Route 3 is moving. And stuck in traffic again, don't waste another minute. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester gets you in and out fast, often in just one day. Open 7 days a week. Get your smile back now. Columbia Implant Center, ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. As we head through tonight, mild, clear to partly cloudy this evening. Cloudy with a couple of showers late, the low 58. Breezy and cooler Saturday. Periods of rain and a thunderstorm could lead to some ponding on the roadways out there. The high of 69 for a Saturday. Partly cloudy Saturday night, the low 47. Clouds, breaks of sun, windy and much cooler Sunday, the high 57. Then a pleasant and warmer Monday with lots of sun, the high up to 74. Increasing clouds Tuesday, feeling like summer with the high up to 79. Right now, we are looking at some showers up in northwestern Connecticut right now. 75 for Granby, 75 Bristol, 73 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Is thinning hair or receding hairline making you self-conscious? Stop feeling embarrassed about your thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement this year? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It's the Peter L. Brown Company's 65th anniversary. For a limited time, purchase high-performance double-pane windows from the Peter L. Brown Company and get an upgrade to super-efficient triple-pane glass at no additional charge. For a free estimate, please visit peterlbrown.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
1 minute.
Hey, my name is Nee Addy, and I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Philo, the TV streaming service that puts its audience first. What does that mean? It means no hidden fees and no long contracts. It means 24/7 customer support with real people. And it means the easiest and most affordable way to watch the stuff you love to watch. Live TV from networks like A&E, BET, Nickelodeon, and Discovery. All the groundbreaking blockbusters from AMC+. A huge library of movies and shows on demand that you can stream now or save to rewatch for up to a year. And fast forward through commercials. We even have more than 100 channels that are always free, even if you pause or cancel your subscription. And the best part, TV shouldn't. So all of this is just $28 a month when you sign up at philo.tv. Check us out risk-free. That's PHILO.TV.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
We are back. It's Reese on the Radio, of course, with my better half, known as Mrs. on the Radio, Roseanne. She's here for Ladies' Night. And we're talking about, these women who seem to go above and beyond to help out the ne'er-do-wells who they run into and go to the umpteenth length to save them, which I find incredibly odd. Don't forget, folks, give us a call, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842, because, wow, we have just a couple of days. What do we have? 5 days left.
It's peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat.
My wife always makes fun of me when I dance. I don't know what that's about, considering I used to get paid to do it.
Yeah, but now you keep your clothes on, so.
Thanks. Don't forget to get to Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe. Pick up a Reese's peanut butter and jelly sandwich. $1 of each sandwich goes to our good friends at the Friendly Hands Food Bank. Just remember to go down there and check them out. Also, the last but not least caller of the day will receive a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, which is located in Vernon, Manchester, and Windsor. South Windsor.
South Windsor.
South Windsor. I knew it was. I knew it was. I didn't forget. South Windsor as well. Yeah, so you said something interesting, right? You said that guys see something, put it in the box. Guys see a box, put something in the box. Ladies see something, put something around the box. Decorate the box. Decorate the box. Yeah. Okay, talk to me a little bit about that, because that's an interesting way that you looked at it, because it's very true. I will look at a box for what it is, its utility, and you will look at it as, how do I make it better?
Well, not only how do I make it, it's about utility. Obviously, it has to be useful, right?
Right.
Even if I don't have an immediate use for it right now, I will ultimately find a use for it. But I'd like it to be pretty. It's got to fit in my space, or, I want it to give a certain vibe, or I'd like to have some sort of emotional connection to it.
Did you ever do that with me? Just so I don't feel like in the beginning.
Did you look in the mirror?
No, no. What I mean by that is, and maybe I didn't notice it, but did you ever do that in your life? And did you ever do that with me? Did you ever look at me like the box and say, how do I dress this up? Like, has that ever come to you?
Not with you, no.
Is it because I had all the style in the world? Yeah, don't lie. You don't have to lie.
No, I'm just teasing. I'm going to say that you came to me a fully formed man.
Okay.
Like an adult man.
Okay.
I understand we had to each go on this independent journey before we found each other.
Right.
But you came to me a whole, complete, capable man.
Okay.
Right? And you said it yourself. You noticed where I try to stick my hands in and have you do something my way. And you're like, woman, no. He doesn't actually use those words, because I would. Yeah. But you came to me with the ability to be fully functional and autonomous.
Right.
So there was nothing to fix with you.
Well, so I'm assuming you're saying that you've had to do it in other relationships.
Being unaware that that's what I was doing, absolutely. When
So
I was younger.
what do you think that is innate, or like that's what I'm trying to understand here? Is it, because I know Tara is saying that it's not with all women. I'm not under the impression that all women are in the business of, let me fix this thing.
Right. Some women are very emotionally well developed. They are very capable of discernment. That's unfortunately not the rule.
Okay.
With a lot of women.
But is it fair of me to say, like, am I being, because I don't want to come off judgy, or I'm being like condescending in some way. Is it fair for me to say that this is a trait that is very, that women do? That this is.
Somebody did post in the comments, and I agree, men have their own version of it.
Okay.
I was married to a Captain Save-A-Ho. I know you know the type.
Yes.
You see a woman, poor thing, she's helpless. Let me help her. I'm going to rescue this woman. We have our own versions of it.
I was like that.
We just go through it differently.
I was like that. I think in my second, that was the only reason why we got together. I saw somebody who was in need, and I was in a place of...
Go back to that. And every time you see these women doing something like, allowing, like picking up strays, it's that same feeling of, oh, I can help this one.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's talk about the difference there in this case. So my relationship where I was, sort of, Captain Sava, I was trying to exert a dominance, if you will. Right? That's what that relationship was about.
I was trying hands on your hips and your cape flying in the wind.
Absolutely. I'm in charge. If I'm the one spending the money, I'm the one keeping you afloat. So therefore the world revolves around me, and what I say goes. This is what I want for myself.
It's a power move.
It is a power move.
It's all about self-grandiosity and ego building. And look how wonderful I am.
Now, women, on the other hand, I've noticed that, again, it's and you said, well, who was the person who said it was the same with men? Was it Tara who wrote that, or was it someone?
I believe it was a man who said it.
Now, there may be some truth. Maybe we're just looking at, maybe I'm missing it. Maybe there are two versions of this. And what I was doing in my second marriage is a version of what women do when they're in relationships, but not exerting the dominance, if you will.
Right. So for me, I can only speak for myself, right? When I was in that situation, it was let me mold you into the man that I see. Let me mold you into your potential so that you can now take care of me the way I deserve to be taken care of.
Ah.
And that's with
Is it the fix you thing?
That would be in a relationship type of situation. When it comes to other relationships, helping these stray people that need a place to stay or down on their luck, that's more of a selfless service.
Mm-hmm.
And it does more from me feeling positive about myself. I'm contributing. I have a purpose today. My acts, my works, and it's not about thank me and praise me and give me accolades. It's selfish,
right?
Because it's all internal. It's all, it makes me feel good to see somebody else doing better, knowing that I played a part in that.
That, you know what, it's again, there is a distinction.
You don't have that.
I don't have that. That's and I know that I do not have that. Zach said something interesting in the chat room. He says that my mom used to call it saving baby birds. Some people will try to save something no matter how futile. Yes, and I was earlier what we were talking about, Zach, with like moms and their sons, right? When their sons are really behaving poorly and they don't have a grip on it, and it doesn't matter what he's doing, whether or not he's down on his luck or whether or not, he keeps missing the strike. He doesn't seem to be able to hit it out of the park. The father is getting on him saying, you need to do this, that, and the third. And the mom is very protectivist. No, he's just different. He has a different soul. And
he's an artist.
He's an artist. He's not like you. He's more like me.
Ferdinand Bull.
Boris says, women treat relationships like men treat a job. Just as Roseanne says, both are a means to an end. Did you say that? Did men treat relationships like a job?
No,
women
treat
men like
the
they treat a job.
same way a man treats a job, right? Like you will grow and nurture and invest in your job to get to a point where you feel satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
No, Boris, it is not a means to an end. It's not that puts a very negative spin on it. It's very me-oriented.
Okay.
It's seeing someone's potential. Right? When you see someone's potential, and the goal is to help him get there.
See, that's the part that drove me nuts. I had a relationship with a woman who was always talking about my potential, but it was always in a direction that I was never in. Right? She was like, "You can be a lawyer." I'm like,
right. And
I like law room drama.
Right. And so, what I meant by get you to a point where you could take care of me the way I deserve to be. I don't mean that financially. I don't mean I'm going to get you to a place in your career where now I can just
Are you talking about behaviorally?
This is about once I help you get where you need to be, now you can see me. Now you can love me. Now you can value me. You can appreciate me.
Ooh.
That's what I mean by treat me or take care of me the way I need to be taken care of. If I do all of these great things for you, when you get there, you'll realize, oh my God, this woman never left my side. She was always here for me. I'm going to take care of her forever because no one is ever going to or ever has loved me this way before.
Yeah, Boris is like, not all men, not all women. No, I don't think that we're saying that. I want to make sure I'm making that abundantly clear.
Right.
This
we don't
is
generalize here.
what we're talking about is this particular nature in an abundance of women. In other words, like this criteria or this behavior is common in women and this behavior is common in men. Of course, it's not all men and all women. It's just where we find this behavior sort of brewing, if you will. But you said something that I thought of, and it was like, there's a Frankenstein monster to what you're talking about.
Yeah. Hello. My last marriage, I mean, he left with 3 degrees and I left with a child in debt.
But yeah, that's the way you just said, like, you know, that the way you just said, it's like you're going to create this man who is going to treat you the way that you wish to be treated.
He's going to treat me the way I've already treated him. It's like paying it forward. Like I am paying my penance. I am doing the hard work. I'm helping lay the foundation so once the house is fully built, we can live in it together. But what ends up happening is I've laid the foundation. I'm going to go ahead and make sure the framing gets done and the roof and the wind. Like, I'll do it. You know what, honey? You just
sit there.
I'll take care of this for us. And then, like Kanye says, he moves on with a white girl. Like, that's literally what happens.
She's talking, sorry, this one's a personal one. Whoa, did that get personal? Yeah, the ex-husband ended up marrying a German woman.
No, I love her. That was,
I know.
No,
I know.
It's
that
the
was
whole
tongue in
Kanye,
cheek.
and when you get on, I'll leave you for a white girl. That was the whole Kanye thing.
But yeah, I totally understand that. Like I said, I didn't understand it because, again, I'm looking at this and going, I look at these women that have put it, you did put it in a lot of ways. You said this thing about how a lot of these people see themselves as somewhat saviors, but without the, without a lot of the consequences that go with them. You know what I mean? It's like there are consequences to doing that. Because I think in your case, as you were talking about with your ex-husband, is that you do all that building up for somebody who would never have done it on their own.
Right. And will definitely never do the same for you. Remember you were saying that they let you, so you did?
Yes.
And that's what I believe that a lot of us.
Do you think that's a lot of what's going on? Like, I'm trying to understand what's the payoff with these judges. You know what I mean?
I
like,
already told you, this is all about this attempt to quell their vicious white guilt. I really think
or
that's
whatever
what it
guilt
is.
they have for that
I was a
matter.
bad parent. I didn't, I don't know where my kid is. Maybe they're on drugs. Maybe they're in jail. Like, I don't know. Whatever they were crappy parents, probably.
Maybe I'm Captain Save an Immigrant.
They have mommy and daddy issues. Maybe they're, there's this thing where people get wealthy and then they hate themselves and they feel guilty for being wealthy. And,
I know
and
people
now
like
they are
that.
giving, that will never be me. Anyway, and now they feel like they have to pay penance to society. But I've been wanting to say this. We have this theory in sobriety that my great-grandsponsor said to me was, you can love someone to death. Instead of allowing someone to face the consequences of their bad behavior, you continue to save them, rescue them, give them refuge, give them money. Whatever it is, you're preventing them from realizing the consequences until they end up dead.
Right. Yeah, because their own bad behavior
And
is
in
only
that,
going to...
when that happens, why me? Why my baby? How did this happen? You did it.
Yeah.
You swallow that guilty pill all by yourself because you loved them to death rather than allowing them to face the consequences of their own stupid decisions.
Yeah. Polly says that the judges are compromised and they're sociopaths. I tend to agree. They are sociopaths. I think they saw their power as something that they could use in this, because I wish that I could say, if I could ask these judges, who was this about? Breaking the law, putting yourself in this calamity, putting yourself in this jeopardy. Who was this about? Was this about Donald Trump? Was this about immigration? Was this about even the person you helped? Or did you help, skirt the law? I don't understand what that is. So, but thank you, Roseanne. I appreciate you. Fantastic job as usual.
Thank you.
Trying to get me to understand women. I will admit, if there's a failure that you're ever going to have in your life, and
It's on your end.
it's going to be you actually getting me to understand women. It's never going to happen. You can try though. Maybe I could be that person that you try to fix. Let's get out of here. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, pleasant weekend. We'll see you on the Sunday show. That's going to be at like 5, 6 o'clock. Jason Caterina's got your weather, and Tom O'Hanlon is in for Mark Christopher. We'll be back on Monday in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, guys.
I'm Tom O'Hanlon from the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. This traffic report is brought to you by
All right, ma'am and sir.
100%
You got it. I didn't see your comment until I looked over. Like,
easing
you
up,
left me a
and
comment.
also in East
Sorry about
Hartford,
that.
Route 2 still
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
half-mile feeding up in.
I'm devastated.
I'm
Bridge is
sorry. I'll
getting-
see you tomorrow. I'll see you on Monday.
An 80
Yes, sir.
Bye.
better going up through Parkville. Really not bad at all.
All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Boris. Much appreciated. Laura says, love Roseanne's contribution to Friday show. Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. And she needs to hear that, too, because trust me, every time she gets off, then she's got to watch the show over, and she's got to look at herself, and she's
I
like,
learned it from you.
all right, you can keep it down now. Yeah. God bless you. What are we doing now? We've got the weekend.
You're taking me for dumplings.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, and we're going to find a new wild hog-free bike ride.
Will you tell these people, and I'm not exaggerating?
It was insane. The first we saw the big, huge one. That guy had to have been about 400 pounds.
No, really? You think it was that big?
Huge. Yeah. I was closer to him than you were.
You were behind me.
No, I was in front of you.
You were?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Maybe we were side by side.
We were. I was telling everybody we
No,
were side
I
by
was
side.
in front of you because you turned around first. And then I was like, all right, come on, he's gone. And I kept going. And then here comes this herd of I counted at least 5 of them. And they were huge.
That's what I counted.
I was like, we're done. There was no way we were encroaching on that.
Quite the show. The doo-doo-doo song by the Germans is great. I don't know what that one is. I'll have to look it up. Anyway. All right, guys, we're going to get up out of here. I got to go get the wife dumplings. And her, I would call it her favorite Chinese place, but it's the only one in town.
It's the only one around, yeah.
Stay on this main road. Yeah, I know. And get bear spray. 100% right, Polly. Polly's got the right idea. We got to get something.
I do have a bike.
Yeah, Roseanne's with me too. Yeah, Roseanne and I riding bikes. She's got a, what do you have? A Huffy, right?
I have a Huffy
and-
mountain bike.
Yeah, she's got a Huffy and I got a Schwinn. So, yeah. So you guys be good. Let's see if we have some good news for you on Monday. Don't worry, I'll explain it to you later. All right, you guys be good. I love you. Stay out of trouble.